Seems like we actually know what we're doing.
Ha! An illusion. Da-dum. Live.
Hi there. Hi
I
there,
gotta move
everyone.
the camera.
Yes, I know. That was the one thing you couldn't do until you turned things on. Okay, hello, welcome again to another live stream with Corey and Lori.
And my plaid flannel shirt that's been sitting in the back of the chair for
Yes, I saw that.
not since it's actually been cold weather. I don't know why I got it out.
I have no clue. Any rate, hello, Brainiac. It was good meeting you in person in
Yes.
human form. Yes. Ah, thank you for the shout
Oh,
out.
you're welcome. I was a little concerned of all the people I didn't shout out
Yes,
to
because we didn't
like
catch up.
Elod and a whole bunch of there were several streamers at the convention.
Sad we didn't actually get to write down their names so we could remember who they were.
So I just listed a few of them.
Yeah.
Alexar, hello. I'm munching on a cough drop here. I started coughing again, of course. Just ready for the stream.
So, any rate, welcome again. It's a lovely, balmy summer here in California, which means we have to have a fan running.
I have a fan at the other side of the room. Let us know if the fan noise is too loud.
Too annoying, yeah.
We could swelter a little.
Yeah. But other than that, by most people's standards, the heat here is, well, it's not
moderate.
Arizona.
It is definitely moderate by most places' standards.
Yes, it's just hot by our standards. Thankfully no COVID for me this time, yes.
Yeah, we actually came home relatively healthy feeling, which is
Unusual.
quite unusual for us.
Conventions are...
Yeah, my rule used to be whenever we went to a convention, I would come home with convention crud of one form or another. Nowadays we call it COVID. Back then we called it convention crud.
Yes. Well, nowadays it's a little bit different. That's just it. But, I mean, because it was a short convention, relatively speaking, and it was just amazing, so that's why we had this as part of our subject matter for this time, because it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience for a Sierra fan, I swear.
Yeah, this may never happen again. I mean, the people that they got for this convention was pretty much the who's who of adventure gaming.
Yeah, I mean,
and especially of 1990s Sierra adventure gaming.
Yeah, so there will be better cons, but there will not be better cons for classic gamers of Sierra.
Classic Sierra fans.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure.
We probably will not get all these people there again.
Nope. Let's see. I heard a few people picked up crud of some sort at the AGFF, but overall small and intimate enough to avoid a bad super spreader. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Mr. Bannon says that you were my heroes growing up. Good, great. We do know that. And this is my favorite game, everyone. And Backseat Advisor gives us an absolutely incredible version of Guybrush Threepwood.
Yay!
In my favorite, visual images of him from the first game. I mean, I preferred that character design better than the others.
Yeah, later ones were...
well, they got steadily more cartoony as you went along.
Mm.
But, yeah, that's a matter of taste. Dominic was
Yes, Dominic D'Amato, was it D'Amato? Was that, am I pronouncing that right? Was there, and he was on the voice actors panel, which I unfortunately caught about 2 minutes of and didn't manage to get most of the panel. And
yeah, that was a shame.
Dominic Armato.
Thank you.
He is. I don't think he was the original Guybrush, but he's been the Guybrush.
He's a more recent Guybrush, but he is a voice.
In Return to Monkey Island.
He is a classic voice. You can hear him. You can hear Guybrush. And so that was pretty cool. There were, several great voice actors at this convention.
Ben Britton, who played Junker Maximilian, don't call me Max. And of course, Francisco Gonzalez, who's a indie adventure game
he was
designer,
there for
developer
other
in his own
reasons,
right.
yes.
but he played Rodrigo Daguerre in Tilly's Tale.
Ah, I see. He's the OG Guybrush in the sense that he's the only one to ever voice him. Yeah, well, okay.
Ah, but wasn't voiced until
yes,
third game.
that
Okay.
makes sense.
All right. So, yes, Dominic is Guybrush.
Right. Even though we hear Guybrush in our heads.
Yeah. We have our own headcanon of
Right.
Guybrush.
And also at the convention was from our team. We saw Al Eufrazio, who lives up in that area, and of course Al's was working on both of our games. He did initial characters designs for Tilly's Tale and Efeo's Adventure, but he also worked extensively on Hero U, Road to Redemption. Mostly the 3D stuff, actually.
Let's see. Johnny Depp is probably not my Guybrush. Maybe Tim Curry.
No, Tim Curry's voice, not at all.
All right. Who was Guybrush before he
He
had
was
voice?
young. He was young, so you needed to find somebody that had a,
Well, young Tim Curry then.
no, because you don't have that kind of voice.
All right, so we influenced a generation of gamers, and now we have these conventions like family reunion. Well, of course,
Yeah.
it was much like a family reunion that we paid our own way, except that we didn't pay anything for the Airbnb, so our housing was free.
Right, and we got a free entrance to the place, so you know,
Free admission to the.
free admission to the event,
Ah,
and it was.
and we sold some stuff. We had a merchandise
Right.
table.
It was an event. I mean, besides Ken and Roberta, you know, being there.
Allo. Josh Mandel was there in spirit by video.
Yeah, I mean, and Jane Jensen was there. Lorelai was there. She did Phantasmagoria.
Dave Gilbert mentioned Francisco.
Richard Aronson was there.
Yeah, a
to
whole
do
bunch of
the
our
voice
compatriots.
of Cedric, just for everybody's. Yes.
Something like that. Anyway, yep. Eufrazio, who worked with us on Hero
Yeah, I
U and
mentioned that. Yes.
Summer Days, and of course Sierra and Doug Herring,
Doug Herring, who
who's our art director in Shannara, and worked in.
Colonel's Bequest.
Bequest,
Was a
yeah.
lot of that Colonel's Bequest, the original game, you can attribute to Doug Herring's art direction and influence on story.
He worked on Conquests of Camelot.
He worked on
Sure.
them, but I'm not sure.
He wasn't the art director.
He wasn't the art director. Well, he might have been the art director, but the main artist was Christie's husband, Keith Ledger.
No.
Not Keith Ledger.
Not Keith Ledger. Peter.
Peter Ledger.
Peter
yes.
Ledger.
Peter Ledger, who was
See, we start forgetting names.
yes,
So we got,
was a fantastic artist. I mean, the Longbow series is very graphically impressive.
yes, so Roberta Williams came up with the idea of Phantasmagoria. She directed it. But all these games are made by teams. And Phantasmagoria is one of the bigger teams because most of the games prior to that point had budgets well south of $1 million. Phantasmagoria was in the several $1 million category.
Yes, but all of Roberta's games were generally co-written by somebody else.
I can't answer that.
Yeah, you can close him off. Yes. So all of them were co-written, but Lorelai did more work on Phantasmagoria too. And I think that, I don't know that, but I think Roberta has most of the credit for Phantasmagoria 1. So yes, that interesting plot line, I think, was all Roberta Williams.
Yeah. And she definitely, wanted all those deaths and stuff.
Well, yeah, but she was the one who had her face whenever you died in some of her
that was
games.
in King's Quest
Yes.
4, yeah.
It's like, I don't
It's
want to
sad.
be my face being associated
We don't wanna
with
be
killing
associated
off
with
the
all the
player
deaths.
all the time. Yes.
During the development of King's Quest 4, the programmers in-house took the picture from the back cover of Soft Porn Adventure, which is the predecessor to Leisure Suit Larry, that showed Roberta in the hot tub, and then used her image from the hot tub with all the death messages, and eventually Roberta got wind of that, and just before the game released, they changed it to simply her face.
Yes.
But as we say, we would not want to have our face on the death messages.
How did Phantasmagoria turn out? I don't know.
It was the best-selling game in Sierra history.
Yes, but I do not know what story-wise how it turned out. Yes. And Brainiac says, sorry, I didn't get a chance to buy a shirt, but I hope everything sold out well enough that you didn't have to cart too much back with you.
Actually, we left it with Jason Michael, who's writing the Questing for Glory book, so he's storing them for now.
Yep.
But yeah, we should have had a price list on the table and stuff, because apparently quite a few people were not aware that we were selling the Meeps.
Yeah.
So we ended up with several unsold Meeps.
And a lot of T-shirts, but
was the convention successful enough? I don't know. I'm fairly certain that the convention was fairly deeply in the red.
Yes.
But it was amazingly successful in terms of their goals of bringing back old time
If their
adventure
goal
gaming.
was to make the most awesome convention for Sierra fans ever, they succeeded in that goal. Did they make any money? I suspect that they are seriously in the red, but they had big people. They had people backing them a lot. There were some, investors / fans that put in a lot of money to make this thing successful.
And volunteered a lot of time.
Yes. So I suspect they will be able to go back to Kickstarter if they have the energy.
So conventions are almost always successful conventions are almost always largely. I believe that's one I have to ban.
Yes, I think you've got to ban that one. Yeah.
I never remember how to do it.
You have to always try to figure it out. So yeah.
Okay.
Ban the spam.
So conventions are almost entirely fan efforts, and the early computer game developers convention, was basically a lot of volunteers making it run. To this day, they still get a lot of volunteers who basically get admission into the convention in return for putting in many hours of volunteer work. Comic-Con.
Comic-Con has that. All the major conventions do that. So that they
rely
get
heavily
free
on
out.
volunteer work. As for what their goals are, it really depends on what they're doing. Lori and I ran the D&D tournament which is one of the things that got us into Sierra, for a convention called TimeCon. It was a Doctor Who convention in San Jose, way back in the umpty-umps ago. And that convention flew over a number of Doctor Who actors from the UK, and of course paid their way and probably gave them a stipend as well. And we talked to one of the people running it, and it was like, where are you getting the funding to do that? He said, well, basically, it's out of pocket. This convention is so that we can have the best people that we want to meet there, and it was not about making money. Similarly, we were guests of honor at a convention in Blacksburg, Virginia one time, and they flew us out there. We had a fun little puddle jumper, like 8-seater for the last phase, and they put us up in the college dorm, so nothing luxurious, but they were also basically out of pocket of the person running it because he wanted to sit there. So
right. So yes.
So the convention was definitely successful.
Yes.
Monetarily, probably not, but it was successful.
Yes. I mean, it was well run. That's another thing that doesn't often happen. This is a first-time con for most of those people, and yet they had the panels that started on time, stuff that was there. The only thing I will say that wasn't well run, that I have had better run in other conventions, is the green room did not have supplies. It did not.
The green room was not properly stocked. Did not have enough water.
Did not have a person in charge of
Yeah.
it. That's what they needed. A liaison for the guests. There were so many guests, and the green room was just this place that had a table in that you could sit at and a bathroom that you could go to.
All right, there's
Yeah.
JRD. John Rhys Davis, I
Yeah.
guess. John Rhys Davis, okay, yeah, got it. So let's see, back to Phantasmagoria. That was a big departure for Roberta because she basically was thought of as making kid-friendly games. She did children's games like Mixed Up Mother Goose, and then the King's Quest series was all designed to be family-friendly games. And she wanted to do something edgier, and that was more like a movie. Wanted the violence and so on. And she and Ken had gone to a kind of a mystery event down in Hollywood that basically they were going from room to room of a mansion.
I thought that was what.
No, that was the lead into Phantasmagoria.
I thought it was the lead into Laura
Chronos Bequest?
Bow. Yes,
Chronos Bequest?
it's
All right, so I may be mixing my story.
Yes, he's mixing his story.
I'm mixing my story. Sorry.
But we do know that yes, it was very adult.
Yes.
And we do know it was successful.
And it was designed, and Ken has said several times that that's by far. Well, first of all, that he was horrified by the budget overruns of the game.
Well, they built a freaking studio to do the video stuff.
Yeah, they had a video studio.
They built a studio in Oakhurst. They got actors, albeit I don't think they were anybody that was big named actors.
They were middle
named actors.
Yeah, mid-level B actors.
And they had to come up to Oakhurst to do it. So it was a huge expense.
It was a huge expense, and anyway, what I was trying to say was that Ken reacted to that by, in the next season, reducing the budgets of all the games, and that was that was the major reason that killed Quest for Glory 5 the first time around.
Yep.
So he said basically we're spending too much money in these games, by which he meant Phantasmagoria, and we can't do that anymore. So he had an across-the-board 20% cut in budgets. And we said Quest for Glory 4 was a disaster because it shipped too early, didn't have enough budget. We can't cut it another 20%. It's impossible. If I'd known then what I know now, I probably would have sort of jogged him along and said, oh, yes, we'll do that, and then just run over 100% over budget. But that's not the kind of person I am. So anyway, that was... what initially killed Quest for Glory 5 before it was brought back several years later under new management.
Well, that and the fact that was a layoff period, and we got kicked out during the layoff.
Yes.
Yes.
But in the long run, Phantasmagoria made up for its extreme expense by being an extreme bestseller.
Well, yeah,
and
but
it made a lot of money for Sierra.
Number 2 do it.
I believe Phantasmagoria 2 also did extremely well.
It had bad reviews. I do remember that. Yeah.
I think they both did very well.
Okay. Let's see. Yes.
People were looking for something a little edgier and more adult from Sierra.
Yes, Arlo says it's a good thing I didn't go. I feel like I would have constantly been trying to spend all my time with my favorite developers, and then I would be too nervous to say anything, and they'd just be trying to get rid of me. Well, that's the best part of the conventions for us.
We were pretty accessible.
We tried to spend the time with the fans. We really aren't the type that went around and hung around with Roberta and Ken, or around with Al or anybody, because we are pretty much introverts anyway. So therefore, we were mostly at our, we made sure that one of us was always at our table, except when we were in talks together.
And we were sort of teased into this by being told that, we're doing the Adventure Game Hall of Fame, and you guys are nominees. And having been through this before with Software Publishers Association, I did not get my hopes up. I said, okay, great, we're nominees. Chance of us winning are...
Zilch.
Yeah, not quite zilch, but like the whisker on her nose.
Yeah.
Because, we knew that Roberta is, the classic, starting the company and so on, was a shoo-in. And Ron Gilbert should be a shoo-in. And Tim Schafer would be up there. And Dave Gilbert should be a shoo-in.
We didn't realize there were that many awards.
There were
more awards than I expected.
I think there were about 10 awards, 10 categories.
Which Roberta won three
of them. Yeah. Or maybe she won 2 of those and one of the best game. No, I guess it was...
No, she won for herself.
For
Mystery Mansion.
Is that the name of it?
Mystery House.
Mystery House.
And then she won again for
Was it for probably just for the company for overall having started Sierra Online? I think.
No, I think it was
Ken
King's
and Roberta.
Quest series. I think it was,
Was
the
it Quest for Glory?
King's
King's
Quest
Quest, yeah.
series. So therefore, she won 3
Yeah, I
of
haven't
those
been able
awards.
to. I have not been able to find the list of winners. So
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
5 for games and 5 for people, said OSU. Have you found a published list anywhere?
Let's see. Quest for Glory 4. Don't be hard on yourself. The game you had the least amount of time to develop properly, the chipped unplayable, is the fans' favorite. It's a testament to your skill as storytellers that you're still able to ship a game that's unplayable and still cause the players to fall in love.
So no, I'm not hard on myself about Quest for Glory 4. I'm hard on Sierra.
Yeah.
And I am not so hard on Sierra because after I sent them a letter saying, we got to fix this, this is a real problem, they fixed it. That shocked the heck out of me. I said, basically, we have to do a re-release, and we have to fix these bugs or the game's a disaster. And, oh, by the way, the new games coming out all have voices, and why don't we add voice acting to it? And they 100%, they went all in on Quest for Glory 4 CD.
Yeah, they did.
And it turned in from a very bad release to a pretty good one. Not perfect, but good.
Perfect, unfortunately, but it was as good as they
But
could.
perfect voices.
Yes. And eventually, over the years, it's a good game. What do you know?
Yeah, the famous quote from, was it the guy that did all the games for Nintendo? Was that a bad game is bad forever. A flawed game a good flawed game is eventually good, or something like that.
Bill Kuhn says that he regrets that Saturday night after the ceremony that he didn't get up to introduce himself to all those people because they weren't there the next day. Yes. That is the problem. You have to seize the moment because
Yeah, it turned out in terms of our tables, Friday was our big day, which we weren't expecting.
Yeah.
But we had a panel every day, so we had to have time away from the table, and that's kind of disruptive in terms of we didn't have anyone to handle the table for us.
Let's put it this way: there were not enough people there to sustain a dealer's room effectively, and there were about amazingly 8 dealers at that place, and hopefully they broke even.
Yeah, all the ones in our room was kind of the demo room, so some people were selling things there, but mostly they were showing off their indie games.
Yeah, so that's where Julia Minamoto was showing off.
That isn't quite right.
I know, but at any rate, Julia was showing off
the
her
Crimson
Diamond, and it's almost shipping. So that was the big news of the convention.
It might almost be out now. She said it would be 3 weeks. How long has it been?
It's coming out.
It's coming out real soon now.
Yeah. Never hold a designer. Don't ever hold to a date. Yeah.
Okay. OSU's. I'd like to find out what your source is where you're finding that linked, but OSU says the 5 games that went into the Hall of Fame were Colossal Cave, the original Colossal Cave Adventure, Advent is what I always called it, Mystery House, Grim Fandango, The Secret of Monkey Island, and King's Quest 1.
Yeah.
All for various reasons.
I would quibble on Grim Fandango, but it was
unique.
It was a unique game. Secret of Monkey Island.
Nobody will quibble about. Mystery House. Bob Heitman, who worked with us at Sierra, sort of grimaced when he heard Mystery House announced. Said, "Okay, I can get the other ones. I can get Roberta getting in for King's Quest, but not Mystery House." But it went into the Hall of Fame not for the game itself, but because it was the first graphical adventure.
Yeah. Arlo says, "What do you get when you win? Is it just a T-shirt that says, 'I created a series of revolutionized gaming for an entire generation'?"
I think they got a little plaque.
And all I got was this lousy T-shirt. Honestly, they got a plaque. Why did they get this? They got a hastily printed out
award
for it because they had ordered awards that did not come. And they were, that day was the panic of, they had a ceremony coming up, and they had no awards to give them out, so they had to print up something at the thing. But they did have little trophy type things that they were going to have for it. And this is a real Hall of Fame. This isn't just the convention's Hall of Fame. This is a certifiable
Yeah, it's
Hall
it's
of Fame.
it's affiliated with the Video Game Hall of Fame, which I think is in turn associated with like some association of international halls of fame. But they got certified as the adventure game division of the Video Game Hall
Right.
of Fame.
So it's not a. It wasn't.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. For a tiny little convention that was just formed, it's an amazing, thing that's significant because that is going in for the Hall of Fame for all games forever.
And looking at the 5 games that went in again, Colossal Cave Adventure was there because it was the first adventure game, etc. Mystery House was the first graphical adventure. Grim Fandango, I guess, was, edgy art styles,
It was
etc.
an original game. I mean,
It was very original.
yeah.
Secret of Monkey Island, just fantastic.
I mean,
they could just as easily put in, say,
I would have put Loom far over Grim Fandango. So
no, I absolutely would not.
I would. Grim Fandango was later. Loom was amazing. It was.
It was completely original, and
And
it was
had
a
a
new
totally
interface.
new interface. It just broke the rules of all the past. It should have been the one up there before Grimm's Fandango. But
Whereas Day of the Tentacle could have gone in there.
Could
There
have.
were a lot of choices, but
Right.
Quest for Glory was unlikely to go in there for the same reason that when Bitmap Books came up with their massive book on adventure games, they left us out. Why? Because we're not just an adventure game, we're a role-playing adventure game. And this was a pure adventure game Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So
if they're
we were probably
purists,
once
we're
again
stuck.
on that weird, people like their categories.
Yeah.
And we're
And
cross-category.
David says the speed running community is spending a lot of time with the original floppy release of Quest for Glory 4 lately. My sympathies to them all.
But anyway, so
Dispatcher tool to convert the CD to floppy.
there we go. Cute. So yeah, Hyman basically, who worked on Mystery House, said basically this was, it was a pretty thin game. It was, the art is terrible, the story not much, and it's basically just an attempt at doing Agatha Christie in a computer game. So it's only there for nostalgia and the fact that was the game that originally created Sierra.
Yes, and the fact it was the
It-
first
or-
visual adventure
adventure
game.
game. Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
So it makes sense for it to be there, but I mean, King's Quest is a no-brainer. King's Quest has created the adventure game industry.
So how did Leisure Suit Larry not make the list? Again, Leisure Suit Larry could have been there. It easily could have been there.
Yeah, I mean, the big four.
There's his source.
My source was my live posting as they were happening in Adventure Game Hotspot's Discord. Since someone said the stream had cut out. Well done, well
Thank you. You have saved the world.
So going on, the 5 people in the Adventure Game Hall of Fame: Jane Jensen, Dave Gilbert, Ron Gilbert, Tim Schafer, and the Williamses. So therefore, Roberta won as one of the Williamses, as the designer of King's Quest 1. Or lead designer, we could say, director, the designer of Mystery House, and indirectly won because she's brought Colossal Cave Adventure back into people's mind share by making the remake of it.
Yeah.
So 3.5 times.
Custom artworks commissioned, yes, but they did not get there. It sounds like someone may have absconded with him.
Oh, really? Oh, my.
Oh, I did not hear that. But it's
Before
usual.
they were scammed even? Sigh.
Yes. This seems to be a year of conventions, doesn't it? Wasn't there the Gargoyles thing on July 4th this year?
There was another. Okay, so this convention up in Tacoma was originally billed to us as a Sierra alumni get-together. They said they're getting together, people like Ken and Roberta and us and Hello and all these people to all meet up in Tacoma, and we can kind of have a party and chat. And and they said, "Oh, and by the way, we're running a Kickstarter to do a convention that will be attached to that. But don't worry. We'll make sure that you guys have time as a group and won't be too mixed in with the hoi polloi." And of course, that didn't really happen. Is that
No, I
we
remember.
got to chat with everybody, but there was no real get together of the alumni.
Yeah, that in that sense, it wasn't as organized as it could have been. But also, the week before, the 2 weeks before they had the convention, the place that they were going to have most of the events, which was the college that's nearby,
Basically said they can't do it.
they can't do it, so they had to.
They had to scramble. They were going to have some of the events at the Tacoma Convention Center, and they ended up instead booking half of a floor of the convention center for the entire weekend.
So if they are there, that would be seriously in the red after that.
Yeah, one expects that was expensive.
Yeah. Oh well.
They did specify that for people, duos are acceptable, so if Lori and I get in, we'll likely get in together.
Yay.
We'll all go together when we go.
Yes, and Brainiac says, yes, I think Loom got snubbed. I just think it was because of, it's all a matter of taste. And it sounded like a fair amount of the judges and things were not from the community.
They were like journalists and stuff. They
Yeah.
were.
So if they're journalists,
They were not adventure game fans particularly.
Journalists tend to be younger now, and so they may not be old time game fans. So they had to learn these
So
things.
they might
for
not know
themselves,
anything about Loom. Might not know anything. I mean, everybody knows about Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, there were way
but-
more nominees than awards. There always are. Yes. The
gonna
Larry cosplayer was actually the guy
yeah.
who was. He put in a lot of money into that convention. He was our chauffeur at the time. He was the guy that we were staying at this compound. There were 2 houses put together, and there were some 25 people all staying there. Most of them the people that were running the con, but Julia was there also. And
Minamata is the correct name of it.
Minamata, thank you.
Yes.
And then he was also the guy that ran the Saturday night, was it? Yes. The con's about over at about 8 o'clock or so. It was running out, and they were going back to our staying place, to fix a barbecue at 8 o'clock at night with a real.
Well, they were starting
Yes.
to leave the convention
It's
center.
like,
And we said, yeah, I don't think that'll work when we went out to dinner.
Yeah.
Same thing with the previous night. We went out to dinner and then discovered they had a huge catered buffet
Yeah.
at the convention center. But it was like 10 o'clock at night by the time they had
Right.
that.
Yes. So that part is a little dysfunctional.
Yeah, the food didn't work out. So, I mean, it looked really good.
But the barbecue, when we got back from having pizza with Richard,
That was fabulous.
that was a good pizza. When we got back there, the food was finally
Oh, I was saying the barbecue was fabulous.
got done. Yes, about that
About
time.
midnight. Yeah.
Yes, and it was,
It was really good. We had some the next day.
Yeah, we had a meat burrito of barbecue. I mean, charcoal beef and chicken and all that wrapped up in a burrito. So yeah, it was an amusing thing. So the Larry cosplayer was actually one of the people that was keeping that convention going. Honestly, yes.
R.I.P. Susan Wojcicki.
Yes,
Wojcicki?
Yeah.
I saw the name somewhere, but
She was the one that ran. Well, somebody will tell us. She was actually a major name, a person that ran something that like Google, or it was actually not Google, but yeah. Hi, I played Quest for Glory games in the early '90s, and it was one of my best childhood memories. Well, so
oh, good. Hopefully, it can be one of your best adult memories now.
yeah, and welcome to our chat. Yes. And Brainiac says, oh yes, the UW Tacoma site apparently had lost power due to a major car accident. I did not hear that part.
Oh, no, we didn't know about
We
that.
just knew that it had lost power and they were not able to guarantee that it could be there for the convention. And, and it was cheaper than earlier. Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. They were saying that because people were offering to help them advertise the convention and
Yeah.
such. And they said, no, we don't want it any larger than it is. We want it to be intimate. We don't want it to be crowded. So, it was a few hundred, 200 or 300 people, I think. What else?
It wasn't Zeke's Pizza that we went for.
We went to.
Did we go to? Was Zeke's the first one we
Yeah,
went
we
to?
went to Zeke's and discovered that,
It's 8 o'clock on a Saturday night.
and it was just closing.
It was just closed. We were told, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're done. We're closed. We've
And
closed."
they had mediocre reviews anyway, but then they sent us to the Rock, something Rock.
Yeah, and we basically asked, "Well, where should we go for pizza?" And they sent us up to their rival, and their rival was excellent.
And the pizza was really good there.
Uh-huh.
So
I almost
something with Rock in the
went
name.
there after the Hall of Fame events, but was advised it was overpriced. Well, whether or not it was overpriced, it was closed. So
Yep.
how about that?
Couldn't
Former
get everyone
CEO
to.
of YouTube, thank you very much.
The other day,
I knew it was major.
the first day, Friday, we went to a Thai restaurant, which was okay, but it was not amazing.
And
But so when I saw that, huge buffet spread, I was like, maybe we should have just eaten late.
oh well. Oh,
But,
she was the ex-wife of
Larry Brin.
Larry Brin. Okay. Now I wonder if I should have showed up in my beige vest, white sweater, and jeans, but wearing my actual equipment that I wear when I travel. My antique leather pouch from Budapest. Cool, that hangs on his vest.
He has a zip-up shopping bag from
Yeah,
Budapest.
yes. Bead necklace and a necklace with my name written in hieroglyphics. Cool.
There you go.
Antique 1930s Swiss Army canteen that I hang from my belt. Swiss Army compass. Oh, that's very cool.
As long as you didn't actually have a Swiss Army knife and
Yeah,
try
I
to fly
know. Yeah.
in.
And an
I've
antique
been known to
spyglass.
fly and sort of forgot that we had things in my bag that they don't permit. Harvard bag hangs from my neck.
Yeah, it closed at 8 p.m. at a Saturday. Wow. Yeah, it was really interesting. Downtowns are always funky, but this was downtown Tacoma, and it was right by a university and things like that. And yet, yes, many of the businesses were shut down, and it was like they weren't open on the weekend, and it's like, wow, do these people not live around here?
Arlo mentions most stuff here in Central Philly closes at
Yeah.
9, and there's a reason for that. Is basically a lot of these places are catering to the businesses
Yes,
around there,
right.
and if the office is shut down at 6, there's no
Yeah,
real
but
point.
there's a huge Marriott that's there.
Oh
you
yes,
know, and so
in Tacoma.
and it's right at the convention center, and they only had a little
They just had a little
coffee,
bar area.
coffee house
They
bar.
had food there, but
Yeah, but it's not a
it's very
dining
limited.
place, so
Yeah.
it's like that's not a great for tourists. Yes, and Brainiac had pizza at Dorky's Arcade.
Oh, I know. As I was trying to say before, and someone asked about, Leisure Suit Larry not getting an award. The big four when we started Sierra were King's Quest, Leisure Suit Larry, Space Quest, and Police Quest. And that was kind of, they were the flagship series. But all of them were considered second-class citizens to King's Quest.
Yes, and
that was-
speaking of
that was
second-class
the winner.
citizens that we have not yet mentioned, Mark Crow
Mark Crow was there.
was there from Space Quest, and he was actually wearing the guys from Andromeda.
He had the nose.
The nose,
pig nose.
and the whatever they wear on their heads.
Ah.
So yes, he was there, and Space Quest was.
I should have dressed up as a hero.
You could have.
All I have
Right.
to do is add about 50 pounds of muscle,
Yeah.
and
Gets a blonde hair wig that's kind of curly. Yeah.
and
And everything else. Yeah. I don't really pull all
And a
night
cape.
parties
I need a
myself,
cape.
so I can't speak if that's accurate. Yeah. I see. So you had to go across the river. Huh.
well, speaking of Philadelphia, Philadelphia is renowned for its blue laws,
Yeah.
and as the old joke is, I spent a week in Philadelphia one Sunday.
Yeah.
and so people used to go across the bridge into was it New Jersey or where? I think across the bridge into New Jersey to get alcohol, and the highway patrol had spotters at the big liquor store that was just across the border, and recorded the license plates of anyone coming out of the store, and then stopped and searched them for contraband when they got to the Pennsylvania side. So pretty nasty. It was entrapment. But
Arlo wears his Swiss Army knife where he can, but he gets, that's always a problem when you're flying places. And got in trouble in Glastonbury when he brought his summoning staff. Jeez.
Well, my story was late 70s or early 80s. I was working out of LA, but I was doing projects in Chicago, and catching a flight back from Chicago. Had a layover, and had some time, and went into the gift shop at the connected Hyatt Regency Hotel, and they had real cool. They had some Halloween stuff, and they had a toy plastic sword. It was flexible plastic sword in a scabbard, and I thought that was pretty cool. And I asked how much they were, and they said, I don't know, and $1, I guess. And so I bought it for $1. That was obviously the wrong price. And went to get on my flight with that in my carry-on, and got stopped at the X-ray machine, and I said, "You have a sword in your luggage?" And I said, "It's a toy plastic sword." And so they weren't going to let me on. They finally ended up going to the airline. At that point, the captain for the flight was coming by, and so they called him over, and he looked at that and looked at the security guys. It wasn't TSA at that point, and looked at me and said, "Well, if the little boy wants to carry his toy sword on the plane, I'm okay with that." And so he managed to insult me at the same time, but it was pretty funny. Made an anecdote for the rest of my life, like today.
Yes, exactly.
So yes, I once carried a toy sword upon an airline and almost had to get it confiscated, even long before the paranoia of 9/11.
Yeah. You can't have a brunette hero because light brown becomes yellow on a CGA monitor. Well, it's because you have to have something that other than a flat color, and yellow's the one to do that. Yep.
Superfan Sarah Kelly was at the convention, but I'm not sure if I put her in the article because I'm never quite sure the spelling of her name, and I hate to get that wrong. I might have put her in.
You go on Facebook, that's how I find these people.
Should have done that.
Yeah. And Anna Vigay was beside us. And of course, also the musician.
Paul Corman. Yep. Paul Corman actually was on the Hero U panel with us. So we had the first day we did a panel on educational games, and we were supposed to have someone who had worked for Davidson, had serious educational game credentials in the panel with us, and she couldn't make it. So it ended up being all about Sierra Educational Games. And we're the metal detectors of the convention. Not that I saw.
Oh, no, I
don't believe so.
No, on the airlines and things like that.
Oh, back in the day? They just had X-ray machines.
They didn't even have X-ray
Yes,
machines.
they did. They X-rayed your carry-ons.
I said back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, they didn't X-ray. They just carried on.
I mean, yeah.
You didn't bother.
Well, for international, customs, they open up your bag and look.
Right. That's customs. Yeah.
I made that mistake coming back from our Europe trip. We bought a sausage in Croatia, and we did it mostly to support the guy that was selling it. But I completely forgot that was in my luggage, and that food is no.
Yeah, even the banana we got on the
airplane
got confiscated.
Well, that I'd expect. Fruit, they worry about, pests and stuff.
Fruit that's on an airline that is coming from America. So I mean, yeah.
Yep. Anyway, so we got our excess food confiscated coming back to the U.S. and it was like no big deal, but I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. The edutainment panel didn't get streamed. Oh well.
Oh,
it's really just.
That's too bad. It was a good panel. we had a lot of fun. I talked about the process that led to Sierra deciding to make educational games, and how Castle Dr. Brain and EcoQuest and Mix Up Fairy Tales got chosen and so on, and quite a bit about them. The second day we were supposed to be on the big Sierra panel, but it became too big because Richard Aronson and Adi Fazio got added to it at the last minute.
Right.
And they asked if we were really set on being in that, and I said no, we're happy not to. So it was just too big a panel. But we did do a panel on Shannara or Shannara, depending on whether you ask anybody or Terry Brooks. And that was the game we did for Legend Entertainment, our little hiatus between Quest for Glory 4 and 5.
For that one, we had Doug Herring, and we had Bob Reitman, and
we had Josh Mandel over the video.
Yeah.
And we had the Fat Man, George Alistair Sanger,
who was
who directed the music.
Yes, was at that time when we were making it. He was one of the most notorious / famous independent music guys for doing games.
Yeah, all the different game companies went to the Fat Man to get their soundtracks.
Because he, self-promoted, and he's a good promoter, and he's very distinctive.
And so he didn't actually remember he'd worked on it, but he went back through his archives and
he had great archives.
Yeah, he had really good archives. He had now I had all the same files he had on my hard drive, but not with his handwritten markups.
And yeah, he had it printed out so we could actually see and remind ourselves what it was. Yes, just like on the way over, I had to read the hint book that I wrote to find out what the game actually did.
And she says, "I don't remember any of this."
Yeah, it was very sad. But
we mostly remember the beginning of the game because we had to do that over and over with Bob Bates until we got it right.
You said Peter Ledger was there. Did Christy Marks make it too? No, I didn't say that Peter Ledger was
Peter
at
Ledger
this
was
convention.
not at the convention since he is deceased.
He died
long ago
when we were making Shannara. He was in he loved to ride fast motorcycles. And his motorcycle...
Actually, I think he was in a sports car.
I thought it was a motorcycle.
No, he was a small sports car.
Okay.
And went on one of those rural highways in Central California, and
he had a truck.
A big rig had decided to pass, and there was no room for him, and he got... let's just say...
Christy Marks should have been there, really, but she did not make it. And, I mean, it's like, of all the people that deserved to be there, too, it would have been Christy.
Guess the stream won't be happening today. Guess hope everything is all right with the Coles.
Interesting.
Interesting. Maybe he can't see any of this.
Or hear it.
Refresh your browser. Yay.
Interesting. No, we are here. I've gotten to go on charter flights. And you could skip that stuff. That's nice. That is nice to be able to skip all that. You probably don't have to be there 3 hours plus.
Yeah, we've written on small planes a few times. My father actually was a pilot, and one day decided to fly us up to what was the name of the ranch?
Harris Ranch.
Yeah, Harris Ranch. Yeah.
I thought that was.
We've been there. We got flown there twice.
Dave
Berry was the other one.
Wasn't the one. I've never flown with your father.
Okay, well, I flew with my father up.
I flew with Dave Berry.
I think my brother. So we've flown into Harris Ranch because Harris Ranch is basically conveniently located in a part of Central California that a lot of small planes stop there, refuel, and then go on. So I've been there, I think, 3 times total. Once on a driving trip with Richard Aronson. Famous steaks, and it's just a steak restaurant. It's just a place in the middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere, but it's a good place for airplanes, private planes, to stop. And that's its sole claim to fame, I guess. All right. And I'd really like to see Christy Marks and Bob Bates sit down together. their game could be part of a series. That's an interesting concept. Bob Bates is,
Well, of course, Legend Entertainment died. It first reinvented itself as a maker of first-person shooters because that's what people were paying for, and then eventually went away. So they stopped doing adventure games shortly after, I think about a year after Shenmue. They did one more game. They did the, no, they'd already done Wheel of Time, but they did the other one that was Gateway, Frederick Pohl's Gateway. And they also, did Star Control 2 under contract. So, they had to reinvent themselves a few times. They just didn't have the funds to continue. I was going to say, actually, way back when people were talking about all these, the summer of conventions, it was even the summer of Sierra Adventure Game conventions because there was a get-together in Oakhurst in early June for Sierra alumni. And Bob Heitman still lives there. And we were, of course, invited to that, but had to pass on it because that's when we were on the Danube. But we would have ended up probably going to both of them or maybe having to take a choice. But there were 2 Sierra alumni reunions this year. People have been threatening to do those for about 5 years or more. And this year they finally happened. Okay, Bellixar, sorry you missed so much of the stream. We will be, as usual, exporting this to YouTube, and you'll be able to find it in the Hero-U: Road to Redemption channel on YouTube, which I guess I should find and link. YouTube. Let's see if I'm in the right account. No, of course not. Switch account. Road to Redemption. It's at. All right, there we go. Few years. Okay, it is at Hero-U-Game. There we go. Okay. So there's a YouTube thing, so it'll be there.
Yes. Let's see. Rumor I've heard that they're trying to have a LucasArts reunion of sorts next time, but given what you said about how the Sierra one didn't really manifest, I don't know if that's still the plan. Well, no, I don't think it's the reunion so much as having all the stars of LucasArts be there for the fans. So yeah, and they also talked vaguely about maybe it being in Las Vegas next year.
So yeah, I mean, we definitely missed getting together with Ron Gilbert and Tim Schafer, who were both really good guys.
But they weren't there.
Yeah, they did. Okay, so they were. They won a Hall of Fame award.
Yes, when the people won the awards that were not there, they usually had a video clip of them winning it.
Yeah, and yes, they were apparently told offline that, by the way, you're going to go into the Hall of Fame, and can you say a few words for the crowd? So they went through some of the games, of course, for Tim Schafer. Besides, so there were 3 main people on Secret of Monkey Island: Ron Gilbert, Tim Schafer, and
somebody else.
The other guy.
Yeah, the other guy.
And
we don't have it out here.
No, we don't. I can find on Moby Games. But anyway, all 3 of them, got to speak to different. Dave Grossman, yes, of course, Dave Grossman.
Yeah.
And of course, with Ron Gilbert and Dave Grossman, you get thoroughly confused when you think about the person who runs Wajidai Games, Dave Gilbert. It's like a combination of Dave Grossman and Ron Gilbert.
Yeah.
So they were there by video, but not in person, and I was kind of sad about that because those LucasArts games are our favorite adventure games.
Mm-hmm.
We think that they really did an amazing job.
There's a lot of people they could have for if they do it next year. They were going to specialize in LucasArts. Yeah.
So I think they got Tim Schafer on for Grim Fandango. Dave accepted for Secret of Monkey Island, and well, Tim was. Did Tim get a director award, or did he just get the award for Grim Fandango?
I think he got it for Grim Fandango.
To I gotta scroll all the way back.
I know, because we don't have any
All right,
way
Lori
to
should talk
start.
while I do
Yes.
this.
Yeah, he's scrolling through.
Oh, it's Jane Jensen, Dave Gilbert, Ron Gilbert, Tim Schafer, and the Williamses. So Ron and Tim and Dave also, we're all there for Secret of Monkey Island.
And if you don't know Dave Gilbert, and you don't know Watch It Eye Games, then
Maybe not to.
are you an adventure game fan? I mean, really, he is keeping the adventure game genre alive, and he has been for 10, closer to
So there have been some European
10 years now.
developers like the group that did The Longest Journey and Broken Sword, but Dave started out basically using Adventure Game Studio to make effectively amateur adventure games, and was well known in the fan community, and then went on to become the modern professional adventure game developer. So he did one about Jewish traditions was his first game, and then he did the the Ghost Detective series.
Yeah, he's done a lot of things.
And then Unavowed was the more recent one.
Big hit, yes.
Unavowed has really took off for him, and he has a one coming out probably, I don't know if it's this year or next year. What was it?
You have all 5? Yeah, good.
Blackwell series.
But he's done this on his own. This is not a team project. This is, he sits in his house. He sits there and works on this. He has one artist outside.
Originally he did all the writing, and his wife did the art for it. And then, since then he's hired an artist, and he's had a contract programmer help him do the scripting.
But mostly it's all one man.
Yeah.
So amazing. Hello, naming.
And nowadays, of course, with a whole team of voice actors.
Yes, because and he is the one that did the direction for Tilly's
so
Tale.
Dave, of course, directs all the voice actors.
Yes.
So
he did Tilly's Tale. He helped. He did the casting with our, and we do the choosing, but he did the casting and had.
And
a
this
great
is of course how he's able to be. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
Really not. This is how Dave is able to be successful, is by keeping his budgets very small. That when his Blackwell series did not make a huge amount of money per game, but it was enough to pay his rent.
And the fact he can make a living off of it is incredible. It truly is.
Yeah.
And it is a tribute to his skills as not only a designer but a worker.
And as a marketer.
And a marketer.
Yeah.
The fact that he can keep that energy and keep that determination and self-discipline to do this is, again, amazing.
And getting on all the social media and promoting and answering questions and stuff like that. To us, that would be a full-time job if we did more of that. Because we tried it, and it was a full-time job.
Yeah. Oh well.
And nothing got written during that period.
So, at any rate, that was day 2 that we did the Shannara panel, and day 3
was supposed to be the Hero U, and I completely messed up by starting my introduction to it the first couple minutes talking about Shannara before Lori corrected me and said, "Isn't this the Hero U panel?"
Yeah.
Or someone corrected me, and to backtrack, and I spent way too long talking about budget issues and how hard it is to do indie game development. So did not speak as much about the games as we should have. I should have slapped myself in the face.
Yes, really. But yeah, we had a great panel for Hero U, because we had Al there. We had Paul Corman, who began being our musician for the team. And we had the voice of Maximilian.
And the voice of Rodrigo. Yeah,
the voice of Rodrigo. And
and the voice of Muella.
And we had Josh Mandel showing up for that panel, because we
didn't get to do a voice.
Huh? We did not have the voice for Muella. It was not in our panel. I'm talking about who
Oh
was
no,
in
she
our
wasn't in the
panel.
who was on the panel?
Corey, yeah.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about who was in the convention.
No, at the panel that we did that you didn't remember was about Hero U. Yes.
Yeah, I was out of it by then. That was Sunday.
Uh-huh.
Well, not only was it Sunday, it was at 3:00 on Sunday.
It was the last one.
Our flight was at slightly before 7:00 on Sunday, and we had a laptop computer and a table full of, huge banners that Eufrasio had brought back from when we used it at PAX in 2018 or
Yeah, and
2019.
speaking of which, we can show those off. For
yeah.
all those people that didn't get
So
to
anyway,
see
we had just a whole bunch of unsold merchandise and stuff we need to pack up, and I was completely panicked. It was like, how are we going to deal with this when we have to leave basically immediately after the panel?
And it wasn't any issue at all, really.
Yeah, well, we packed up before the panel.
We did, which was the smart thing to do.
And we got Jason Michael generously volunteered to
Either
stow
way,
this
that
stuff
or we
for
would
us.
have sent it back to you. Al.
Wait, I don't remember that one.
We didn't actually have this one out. We didn't get it back out, but this thing.
Ah.
These huge banners we had for PAX 3 years.
They're
4 years
designed
ago.
to hang from the wall or something.
Yes. And they were done by Al, who had designed them, and they were printed by Jim Ferguson.
Yeah, so our panel that we did at PAX, we had aluminum rods supporting curtains as a backdrop to our table, and we were able to attach the posters and such to the top of those rods with these big, huge clips. Did we sell our meeps? No, we did not, because we did not actually have a price list of the table. We did not actively sell anything. We did still manage to sell a few $100s worth of stuff. Not enough to pay for our airfare, but enough to kind of dull the pain a
Trying to
little.
get rid of some of the stuff we have.
Yeah, we're trying to clean out our garage.
Now, as I
But we
said,
still have lots of meeps.
what I was trying to say is that these were printed by Jim Ferguson, who is an artist who does all sorts of paintings off of Sierra Games and movies, and he happened to be at that.
He had a table
Convention.
next to Bruce Bernace, who does amazing fantasy art, has done Magic the Gathering cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, so this will eventually go behind Corey.
Jim Ferguson art, images of, I don't want an image of, I want Making a Scene is Jim's website.
Yes. Here are the scenes.
So I have linked this before. Jim
Here are the scenes to show off again.
Were we selling signed game boxes? Yes, we were. And we were effectively giving them away. We were selling them, I think, $50. $40? Maybe it was $40. $40 for a signed game box. Meanwhile, Aldo was doing just his signature for $20. And this is a Jim Ferguson piece.
There's several in there. They're all the pieces from all our games are in there. He has a panorama.
Oh, okay, so this is a new one we just got. I guess I could take it out of the plastic.
You can take all of them. They're
I'll
all
get
in
fingerprints on them. I'll probably get it all smudged and nasty.
there. This is what Jim Ferguson does.
So this is what he does: is he takes scenes out of Sierra Games and reimagines them and paints them. So here is the Dryad wood, and he does this format of the very long, short things that can be tricky to frame or find a place on the wall. This is the savannah outside the city from Quest for Glory 3. Tarna. Here's one from Quest for Glory 2. This is the desert and the hero with his Saurus.
So yes, and he was happy to sell those to you at the convention.
Yep. And you can also buy them from his website, which I have linked.
Right. Yes.
So here's Heroes Quest 1, or Quest for Glory 1, really. It's closer to the VGA remake version.
And he pretty much has done that for all Sierra games. A lot
When
of
I
Sierra
first saw
games.
these, I was like, well, what's he doing? He's just painting over scenes from the game. And actually, no, these are real paintings.
Yes, these are all original paintings.
They all have the feel of the game, but they're original and they're, just better paintings than in the game. All right.
Well, it depends on the game. The paintings for Quest for Glory 4 were absolutely incredible in detail too. Yes.
But Jim's
see.
really nice, and he doesn't just do Sierra. He doesn't just do Quest for Glory. He does all Sierra games. He doesn't just do Sierra games. He does all kinds of games. He does
All kinds of movies.
and movies.
His biggest sellers are his movies. He gave away a banner like those that I showed that had all the game ones, all the major games.
I of course
that
have
he
the
did.
wrong desktop here.
You do.
Yep. Doo-doo-doo.
Did that? Don't. You should shift the.
I don't know how to do that.
You've done it before. You're going to have to do it again because we're going to show a game that we're going to run on there. So figure it out.
All right, screen capture. Screen 2.
Yeah, there.
Done.
Okay, was that?
All
tough?
right, that's how hard that was.
Yes.
So here's Jim's website, and
So he actually auctioned off a banner that had all sorts of games on it because he said, you know,
yeah. So Sierra Game Prints is one of his
Yes.
categories.
had the Sierra games and other games that he's done, but they don't. He cannot sell these things at any other convention, you know, because basically,
Oh yeah, he redid the Quest for Glory 2 map amazingly.
yes.
And
So if you've
price
ever
is
lost,
Price is cheap.
yes, if you've lost your map, this is the place to go. So Arlo asks, Jahari's very friendly with the
Obi-Wan
hero,
Kenobi.
but still winds up marrying Yusufu. Is she just boy crazy? There we go. So why did Johari choose Yusufu? That question will be answered when we finally get to Quest for Glory 3. There
Well,
are real reasons.
And the question is, why did she was married to the hero, wasn't it? Or is that-
Well,
No.
technically speaking,
She was owned. She was owned by the hero.
yes.
And why is that? Is because that was the obligation, also the terms of release as a prisoner. When the hero freed her, she was obligated to the hero.
No, there's all sorts of reasons, and I just decided that, you know, that
You
probably-
decided you have your own
No,
headcanon, huh?
I wrote it, Corey. I have the
You
real.
didn't?
I have the.
Did you write it
headcanon.
into the game, though? Did you write it into Quest for Glory 3? Huh?
Yes,
Okay.
but it doesn't get explained, of course.
So
not.
you get explained because the
Because-
explanations are
because-
headcanon.
No, but
Is the game designer's headcanon
canon-
worth any more than any fan's headcanon?
yes. But there's but when we go to, we're supposed to be on doing game 2 here, so we should start up doing to game 2 while we're doing this now, because we've come to the hour mark. So start the game while I'm talking. So I will address that, but there are serious reasons why she chose. It's not that she's boy crazy. It's that she's,
He's right for her.
well, what's the term? It isn't right for her. He's a mismatch too. Hero's more of a mismatch, but just Yusufu. I mean, there's two different. Their cultural differences there are almost as bad as Hero and her. But all right, let's see. And Brainiac said something, but I can't tell.
Oh, look! It's on the wrong screen
It went
again.
up the wrong screen because it always does that. It never fails. That happens. So you have to do this.
So that's the reason why it was on that screen, is I will have to actually move everything over here.
Well, that's not how we normally do it. We normally do it.
We
on
can't.
Yes, Corey. You usually play it on the screen.
I
Honestly.
don't know how to do that.
Well, you too, because you've done it before. Every time.
All right. You want me to figure out something that I did a month ago?
I know that's the
When
problem.
I know a different way to do it, but I will
Well,
do
you
it
can
your-
finish it. You can-
I'll do it your way. It is the
Do
way.
it my
It is the
way.
way of the world.
Yes, that's how you do it. You move it now while it's windowed, and you put it over there.
And then I do Alt Enter or something like that. Oh no, that ends up starting new
No,
hero.
that doesn't work that way. We
I
always
don't know
have
how to go back. Okay, so
use
this always
cancel.
fails,
Yes.
and then I'd start over
Then
again.
you start over again, and then we.
I don't think this is the way to do
it
things.
is the way you do it.
That is not the way.
It is a way. It works. Then you have to erase it again.
Okay, so then I have to go click somewhere. No, I have to Alt Tab.
Yay.
Are we winning here?
Then you move it.
And I move it,
Uh-huh.
and then I
Use the window thing, maybe? Oh, no, because
then
that's...
I
okay.
continue quest, Day 4 on fire in fuego.
Okay.
And now am I doing all enter?
No,
Ha!
that isn't. Corey.
Lori, I didn't do this last time. I moved to the other window, and that's why. That's why it was showing the other screen. Is because that was left over from last time. I know how this worked, and you should not contradict me. That is why, when I started to share a screen, it shared the other screen. It's because that was the only way we could do it last time. Screen 1. Done. Okay. Take 3. They're small. Turn on Silly Clowns. Or maybe it toggles Silly Clowns.
Brainiac points out that they were married in the eyes of the Simbani, yes. In the eyes of the leper men, hell no. And also in the African cultures of the Simbani / the Maasai people that they're based off of, it's very easy for a woman to divorce a man just by, not sharing the house that they lived in at that time. Yes, do so remind us when we play that thing, yeah. Let's see. Of
course, if I were to come back over here,
yeah,
and go to speakers. I think I need this one.
Yes.
View capture device.
Silly Clowns are always on. Yes. I do love that art. I believe we spoke about it at AGFF. I don't think of it as AGFF. I have to, look at that and say, AGFF. What's AGFF? Oh, that.
Adventure Game Fanfare. Da-da-da-dum. All right, I think this is morning. I think we decided Control D was time of day.
Yay, we're
Day
finally
is
figuring
dawning.
out an interface. Did you eat?
Yes,
Okay,
I did
fine.
all, and
right,
I
you're
was
all
all
ready.
ready to go into town.
All right.
Ali Chica says, fire sale today. Polycilia, real wood burned by real fire. Elemento, be the first in your block to own this. It's supposed to be Italian accent, but never mind that.
It's supposed to be a...
I have actually...
it is a burnt town.
Yes, and
He
his
did get burnt.
his booth has been completely burnt out, but he's still there. So
Nobody else is.
nobody else is here. All the other merchants are missing.
Yes, because
Ask about fire. It's hot. It's red. It's something you cook with. It burned my stand down. Fire elemental. The fire elemental. He burned down this place. I guess maybe he no like souvenirs. At least not junky ones like he had. And that's probably about all I'm going to get out of La Chica.
if we're really going to go down this thing of how the African cultures do things, the hero is really going to be in for a surprise when he marries Iran or a Katrina, if he's only been with Jahari so far. Yeah, well, that's true of every human being. When they meet another human being, it's a total shock when they have to deal with that other person and their things.
I
Well,
remember when I was younger reading that 2/3 of all marriages in the U.S. eventually ended in divorce. And I don't know how accurate that number is, but
that
it's just a number I
statistic
remember.
isn't as correct anymore. But yeah, they seem to have
Well,
survived.
now people just don't get married in the first place.
Well, they're smart, yeah. Yes, nobody knows anything here.
I asked about fire elemental. They
That
do know
works.
about.
Okay, fine.
Such a destructive thing in the plazas means a terrible loss of business and lives. When water is thrown at it, the thing of fire merely leaps away.
Oh boy.
So, who would know something about fire? Probably this apothecary.
Well, how many water skins do we have in inventory?
Not enough, because
I know. I'd take a thing. I used to hear 50% unmarried myself, so not qualified to speak. Yeah.
Ask about fire elemental. I wonder if there's a way to repeat the
don't
last line
know.
I had. And of course he says, I didn't know she'd come in. Have you seen the fire elemental? It is magic of the most marvelous kind. So very beautiful, the dancing flames. If I but had such a creature at my command, the pills I would make. Fire glowing in the very semblance of a man, a marvel to behold, and yet a deadly peril as well. To understand the fire elemental, you must know the flame. Oh, wrong command. Ask about flame. Watch this. See how the flame reacts to incense? Fire is attracted to the things it burns because it is very vain. You know, incense would make quite a lure for a fire elemental. Now I must get back to my work. If you see something which interests you, let me know. Ask about trap. Not in my power to give you the answer. Ask about incense. This incense is made from the finest frankincense, no myrrh. It should attract the flame.
Alas, no myrrh.
There's only 70 centimes. Buy incense. I wonder how much we need. Incense will cost you but the price of my ingredients, a mere 70 centimes. You pay for the pouch of incense a bird way. How much stuff do I have? I have 1 pouch of incense, 3 healing pills, 3 vigor pills. That's not bad. 2 mostly full water skins, 1 container of oil, 3 poison cure pill. I'd say we're actually pretty. We have a Saurus. You own a trusty riding Saurus, but of course he isn't with us. He's out in the stable. My detect magic is up to 29 because I used it a lot in the alleys.
Good.
My other spells are all at 25, except for Trigger and Dazzle. I haven't, and Force Ball and Levitate I haven't used. So
you really need to.
we need to practice these.
Things. But probably need to deal with this thing first.
Okay, so we have something that will lure a fire elemental. Well, the problem, of course, is that if we lure it,
What do we do with it?
it'll burn us up. Fill water skins.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to lure it. And we could throw water at it once lured. Maybe it'll work. But people are saying when they throw water at it, it just moves away. Well, maybe it won't move away if it's attracted to the incense. Do we have any reason to think of other things we should do other than the fact that...
No, we
know
should
them?
talk to people about it. Like, go talk to the other magic people, I guess.
Somebody will sell you the finest oil lamp in the land. That sounds useful. Buy lamp. Or, of course, in Colossal Cave Adventure, it was get lamp. You find you do not have enough money to buy it. Oops, we
Yes,
have
can't do
been
that.
too profligate with our...
Yes, obviously.
What? That's not ridiculous. We have
Well,
12
ask
dinars.
how much is the
Ask about lamp. My oil lamps will light the way. For you, Effendi, I will charge but 15 dinars. Yikes. Tashtari. Why, I think we have someone in our stream named Tashtari. And he probably would sell us an oil lamp at a what's the word? Use something price? At a ridiculous price. Ask about fire elemental. Such a destructive thing in the plazas means a terrible loss of business and
Okay,
lives.
he's going to tell you the same.
When water is thrown at it, the
Well,
thing
they-
of fire merely leaps away. Okay, that's all the cat is tell you. Quick, someone go get Tashtari from the Discord.
Yeah, really. All right. So, why did we go down the route of
Ooh, are there lamps in the bargain bin? That's a good idea. Why did we go down which ramp?
the route of in Shapir be a place where women have rights but not Rasir? I feel like with most we are told about the Middle East, especially in the 90s, the natural expectation was that women in the entire game wouldn't have rights.
Because this is an idealized fantasy game,
Yes.
and Lori wrote it.
Well, yes, it is an idealized fantasy game, and it is a game of contrasts, if you haven't noticed. It's about, okay, you've got to read these fast.
Oh, sorry. The fire elemental the fire elemental has a weakness for water. He lives in the fast lanes. You'll have to get him restrained if you want to make him remain, so you can get him contained. To get the flame to smother, don't ask me. Go ask another. Ask about container.
You-
Find a fellow who will loan you his bellows, and if you can't play, just take them away, Jay. That, of course, is for a different later puzzle. Because he's the air expert, not the fire expert.
Okay.
Oops.
Oops.
All right, but we have some information. Anyway, as Laurie was answering the question.
Well, yes, we were talking about. Well, let's talk about this when we get to Rasir, because there were a lot of things going on. But
that'll
mostly
be
it's
months.
because it may be. It is because we wanted to have a very different effect. You wanted to see the contrast between an idyllic society, one where you have a sultan. Are you coming back here for something?
Yes, I'm going to ask about container now that I know that's a keyword. I asked about trap before. It's not my power to
It's
give it.
not
Okay.
his answer.
Anyway, so we had a. I didn't actually read A Tale of Two Cities, so I don't know if that was related. Yeah, it is A Tale of Two Cities. The game is A Tale of Two
It is a tale
Cities.
of two cities, yes.
But it was also supposed to be a contrast between a utopia and a dystopia.
Yeah.
And this city of Shapir was originally a utopia. It's got an enlightened ruler and, people who are happy and prosperous.
There's a wide variety of people living together in harmony and peace.
And Rasir is kind of the opposite because they have a despotic ruler.
Well, because they had an ineffective leader, and that allowed for bad people to take over. But mostly, it was all about Sierra. This is an allegory. And so when we get to Rasir, we'll get to tell all the reason why Rasir is the anagram of Sierra. Let's see.
So, explain the visit. Visit the dervish at the oasis. He is a very wise. Ooh, does anybody know? Damn it. Sorry. Where's out today? Does anyone know the way to the oasis? Can anybody tell me how many scarines it is to the oasis? Maybe he'll tell me. Ask about Dervish.
Yes.
There's
Was
the
the best of
oasis to
times.
the south. He knows everything goes on. Ask about oasis.
Does Harun al-Rashid also have a harem? Well, I'm never-
Probably.
Yeah, you gotta imagine he did.
The oasis is a place in the desert where there is life-giving water. It is 5 scarine lengths to the south and 3 scarine lengths to the east from the town overlook. So a scarine was, somebody came up with that as
That's me.
distances, Lori. Crossing the screen is how things are done in Sierra. Maybe I have to say get Saurus from him. Get Saurus. You can't get the red Saurus. Red Saurus? That works.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's bellowing about some other elemental. Yes, exactly.
All right. Let us go to the south.
The problem with this, of course, is that I cannot scroll up to see what people have written. So if you have written something beyond
Okay,
this,
we're going.
I can't get to it.
And besides which, I can't need to count on my
Right.
fingers and toes.
One.
Scarine. 2 scarines.
It's a little like the count, yes.
3 scarines. Haven't been attacked yet. 4 scarines. Uh-oh. Now we've changed directions.
Right.
We have to go this way. 5
5
scarines.
scarines. Oh,
Now,
this is the
east and
fifth.
west are now switched, so
Right.
I'll go to the left
Yes.
to go east.
Yeah, that one I was.
1 scarine.
Yes,
2
it's 5 scarines.
30 scarines. We did it! That worked amazingly. So, what was going on there is, just like in the plazas, when you get to a certain point in the desert, we flip you and switch directions. And that had to do with the fact that we didn't want to make the desert infinite. But I don't know. The desert comes from both Shapir and Rasir. It's the same desert. And we had to do the flipping for reasons.
Reasons, because we thought that was...
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
It seemed like, there we go. That was the reason.
What was it?
Let's see. And, see, in the actual Ottoman Empire, they weren't allowed to enslave Muslims. Well, remember, this is not the Ottoman Empire. This is the Persian Empire, and it predates the Ottoman Empire. So this is not the traditional Muslim state that it...
Ah, there the source gets water on his own.
Uh-huh.
I knew he had to drink here, but... Okay, hero business like eating peanuts. Ask about peanuts. Once you start, it's very hard to stop.
Ah.
Ask about hero. Same thing.
So, no, they...
Oasis.
The Sultan of Shapir has wives, not slaves. I mean, so therefore, yeah, he probably has women that were, basically, it's a political system. Of course, he has women that their fathers, negotiated so that he would have them for wives. It was, politics is politics, even in an ideal society.
As OSU says, the historical Harun al-Rashid was an Abbasid Caliph and an important character in the Arabian Nights book novels. I'm going to ask about Oasis again because this was so good. Oasis is like a wise saying because both seem shallow but have great depth.
But are very deep.
Ah, okay. Get water. You take a deep drink. You then check and refill all your water skins. Okay. So it had some smart stuff. Let us ask about...
On the other hand, if you're allergic to peanuts, once you start, you will stop very quickly.
Wise man learned much by saying little. Ask about whirl. Difference between beard and whirl is one whirls around tree, the other twirls around me. Ask about beard.
On one of my trips.
Same thing. Get beard.
I met a man who was got lost in the desert. Your design was accurate. It's difficult to navigate out there if you don't know what you're doing. That's true. It did help to make that a little more confusing. It wasn't a great idea to shift scenes like that, but it does give you a sort of verisimilitude.
I was lost in the woods once, and after much walking in a straight line, I discovered myself back where I'd begun. And so it's very easy to think you're walking straight, but maybe your right foot's a little stronger, so you end up shifting a little to the left each time, and you end up going in a circle. That is why you want to have a compass. You take a small piece of the dervish's beard and put it carefully away.
And I lived in Arizona, and so desert survival was something you actually got taught about because it's easy to be.
Fire elemental like mule cannot be driven, only be encouraged to follow.
Okay, there's an information piece.
Ask about container. If you want right answer, ask right person. Okay. Is there anything else we're supposed to do with the dervish?
No, you got his hair.
So there was a bug in this originally. How do I look at my compass?
This is the Persian Empire. Iran is not as deserty as you might imagine to be. This
Compass
is somewhere in
control
Arabia,
H.
but it's fantasy, so shrug. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's that fantasy Persian Empire era of things, yes. And, it is more Sahara Desert perhaps than the plains and steppes that were kind of more Irani, but this is the book of the area, yeah. Same thing happened to me in the savannah. Interesting.
Ride my soul.
Yeah, yes.
Through the oasis.
Yes, apparently harems. I did read a whole book about harems, and no.
He looks vaguely familiar. Maybe you've seen him in a camel lot? That, of course, is King Arthur, lying dead in the desert.
It's a really grim joke.
You can't do that while riding a Saurus. Get off. The Saurus needs more room before you can dismount. Anyway, we can't help him, so.
Ah! He was just,
A mirage. 1, 2,
Mordred is stuck. Yes.
3. Now we need to go back to the north, which I think is this way. Until it turns us around again.
So,
1.
yeah, the Brainiac says that they're having the spiritual successor to Heroine's Quest, the Serpents of Seraph. More fantasy, huh? Than Arabian
Control
1001
H.
Nights. That's interesting. So, yeah, I'll be interested to see.
Oh, we are heading south, so yes, we had to turn around. Which is extremely confusing, and probably a lot of people got lost here. Oh.
We're supposed to be going north back to the city, aren't we?
Oh, we are.
You just went all the way south.
I
Oh,
did.
yeah. You don't need to go south.
So I think I can maybe keep riding?
You can keep riding till you
H.
come to the mountains at the top. You don't have to actually count because you'll eventually hit the mountains. You are now going
Alright,
north.
we are going north.
Yes. Until we hit the midpoint.
We're likely to have a random encounter with all this extra
Yes.
scarines I'm going through.
And now. Yes.
We're still going north.
Yes.
Okay. Did not have to actually turn.
Ah!
Ah! Prepare to fight.
You can just type go home. Thank you. But we do need to practice our magic. No, we don't need to fight. We are not a fighter. Yeah.
If we do this fast enough, he won't get hits in on us. We'll probably run out of mana, though.
And
We
we're
can
not
try dazzling him.
Yes, dazzle him. Try using techniques.
I think dazzle only works if you're not yet in combat. How about run away? You wisely demonstrate your inborn self-preservation skills. I don't think you can go home without the Saurus.
Maybe go home, maybe in the other game. You're now going the opposite direction than what you want to go, though.
We'll work that out after we're no longer dead.
Ooh.
Hey, that looks like Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, we're really
Or maybe
running.
Roger Wilco.
Ah, he's coming after you. At least we're going. No, maybe not.
Okay, north is that way.
Okay, good. So we are going the right direction now. Just keep running till we fall down. Oh, very good timing. Yes.
Ha! Never a doubt.
Dazzle does work in combat at least some of the games because Calm would just have the monster calmly dismember you. Yeah. Calm. Dazzle works in combat. Calm does not. Yes.
Good day, Effendi. I see you left your Saurus out in the desert. Most Sauruses find their way back here to the stables. Well, he hasn't so far. All right, what am I anyway? Am I a rogue with magic,
Yes,
or am I a magic
you
user?
are. You're a rogue with. You're a magic user with rogue skills.
Is that possible? My Picolox is pretty high.
That's
I'm a
because
magic.
you
I'm a magic
practiced
user
it.
by nature.
I think you have to be, isn't it? Isn't that true?
You could be a rogue and you could get magic skills.
Yeah, well. Well, I guess you're a rogue. Look at your odd Jester.
Yeah, I look like Jester. I'm a rogue.
Yeah.
So I should have been throwing daggers or something,
Yeah.
or stabbing.
Yes, the
The
artwork
thieves'
says
way
that
to
you-
fight is to throw daggers from a distance, which is difficult in KOF GT.
Yeah, I know.
Because you don't get any distance. They close
right,
on you in
yes,
seconds.
Right. So not easy.
Back to the character sheet. What's our health looking like? 29 out of 51. It could be
We're
worse.
good enough to live.
We made it away. And we probably gained a few skills than if I had looked the first time. Okay. Fire cell today. R. Nope. Not. Oh, control. Escape I could have done. Control R. We're going to the who wants the whirl? Was it the apothecary or was it the I don't remember. Somebody wanted the Rule of Dervish.
Probably him.
Doop. Ask about Beard. Ask about
Keep on
Dervish.
laughing, they say.
Yep. Clearly not this guy. I mean, what would he want with
Alright.
the
My
Dervish
favorite
beard?
new trick I've learned recently that it's possible to use juggling lights in Quest for Glory 4 to get a key item. With a glitch, of course. Yes. Oh, that's fun.
Well, the juggling light spell itself, of course.
Harik wants ghoul claws and scorpion tails. That's
Which means you'd have to defeat a ghoul or a scorpion,
so far we're
which so far I'm not.
not. No.
I discovered in the remake of this, I played as a rogue and got my clock clean trying to. Well, first of all, I only had one dagger, and I think I eventually discovered that it's actually just as hard in the original. I thought I was blaming them for having made the combat too hard, but Sell Beard. You uncurled me some whirl from Dervish? Oh, Frab, just stay. Hurroo, hooray, he chortled in his glee. Here's the dinars that I must pay. Control I. We now have 27 golden dinars. That is more than 15. Because I really think we're going to need an oil lamp to contain a fire.
I love how the Colts don't even mind people hacking their games.
Uh,
Rule number 1. The player must have fun.
Rule number 2.
We don't care what they do. That's not the rule, but that just
No,
works for this.
Rule number 2 is we don't actually know what fun is.
Rule. It is not.
Rule number 2 actually is the developers must have fun, because if the developers aren't having fun, it will show up, the game will end up feeling grim.
Only in theory. That's the theory, yes. First game designers I've met who want you to hack their game.
The guard says, Fire Elementals, what I can do about such a thing except to keep the merchants, help the merchants get away and try to keep the fire from spreading. Well, somebody should have told me where in the city it is, but they haven't. So I guess I'll have to explore the entire city until I find it. In the alleyway, ooh, Numlock does not move me.
Ooh, how about detect magic?
I don't think that will help me with Fire Elemental.
Probably not.
But it'll show me the way to the
Yeah.
wit.
To wit.
To wit?
To wit, to wit.
Okay, so we'll get thoroughly lost here, so I will instead use my magic map.
This is the one oddity about the fire melon. You get to see the damage on day 4, but it doesn't actually become encounterable until day 5. Thank you for letting us know.
Because it's going to different sections of the city. It's
All
working
right.
its way through the
Yes.
city. Okay, so we'll ask about Fire Elemental, and they won't know anything because they haven't encountered it.
No, they'll probably give you the same answer. Yes. The kata answer. All
Okay.
kata are the same.
Mafimt! The townsperson doesn't seem to understand you. So, Mafimt actually literally apparently means I don't understand in Arabic. But it's a nice self-reference there because he doesn't understand, so he answers with a phrase that the player doesn't understand. Such as when water's thrown at
That's the same thing. I
That's
told
what-
you.
okay,
Kata
so-
are generic.
All right, so we have nothing to do today then.
Right. Townsfolk are generic.
But somebody did mention something about bellows.
Well, yeah, we needed to find the bellows, and we know where
Not
there
for-
are bellows.
Not for the fire elemental, do we?
Oh, no, I guess not. And we don't want to do that yet.
We'll go to the weapons shop.
Okay.
Oh, the katas, huh? Only a kata would call you a hero.
Yes, it's Shapir may be the better city, but it is not perfect.
Ask about strength. You got to work out daily if you want to build muscles like mine.
Usher of the House of Usher. Yes. I figured it was basically preparation time for the first, and
I
I'm presuming
am
you didn't need it as much for the later ones. Exactly. It was a give you time to figure out what the heck is going on. Yes.
I make the finest weapons in all Shapir. Oh, I didn't actually buy the lamp after we got enough
You
money to
didn't?
buy a lamp.
No, you didn't.
Of course, we don't know we need it.
No.
And that's an awful lot of money.
Now that I'm older, I understand this guy is actually being friendly in his own way. He wants you to taunt him back. There should be an option for that. Perhaps, but he would probably, people like him are the type that, yes, they like you to,
I want to wrestle. I just want to make it worthwhile to stay in my place. I want to make a little wager.
they want
say,
to win.
1 dinar?
As long as they're winning, they'll enjoy wrestling or contributing with him. But if you're going to win, they do not want that.
So, cloth of the finest of weaves. I don't think I need any cloth for anything.
He could be the snarky type who's fine getting back, but he's also fairly egotistical. He could be. I just think he's obnoxious.
What other? Should I buy more water skins?
Are you going to try to get to Rasir on your own?
Yeah. No. Let's go back to the Fountain Plaza.
And buy that lamp.
Yeah, and buy the lamp and fill my water skin. And we decided to originally had fractions of a water skin and so on. I decided that was too many inventory items. So we simply have your water being sort of used evenly from all the
The other thing of not having an encounter with the fire elemental is that you can go around and find out what the hell you're supposed to be doing here. Yes.
Maybe I could have price. Maybe I could have bargained 1,500 centimes. Boy, that's
You
an
could
expensive
have.
lamp.
Yes, you could have bargained.
They didn't give me
Hey,
the option.
it's a me! Tashnari points out. It is indeed. At least it was
It's a you.
It's a you.
Enjoy the beauty of the living plant. Its very breath lightens the air and fills the room with gladness. I know that that's what caddis sound like because of Tilly's Tale. And
I see. Yes, yeah,
wonderful
actually,
acting job.
that is the kind of...
who played Arquetta?
I can't remember his name.
No. I should have said something.
Oh, well.
This, of course, is the great
Well,
food
I
merchants.
think that personality type is very friendly with you once you duke it out. Yes, it's like when men get it out of their system, it doesn't really matter who won. You get to some good blows in, and everyone's friends now. But since you have him throw the bellows at you when you win at arm wrestling, I guess I can't argue with you there.
The price of the bread is 30 centimes. The price of the saurus on a stick is 70 centimes. The price of the dates is 30 centimes. The price of the falafel is 70 centimes. The price of the lizard jerky is 100 centimes. Well, clearly the saurus on a stick, which was inspired by the Orat on a stick in Space Quest. But that's too hard to do, so we could buy some bread. You'll be much the better for it. Does that show up in your inventory? You find and you try it and find you like it. It is soon eaten. There we go. So any of the food we buy will be soon eaten. Sunset approaches.
As someone who doesn't care for physical combat, I'm fine with snark to snark combat. No one busts your chops better than your friends, but leading with that attitude is much less endearing. Yes.
And that was the we were just blown away by Secret of Monkey Island's insult combat,
Yeah.
which I think Hal Barwood came up with the idea for that. Brilliant idea, and I mean,
And I like the
And
idea of I would steal something like that for the snark for certain characters. I don't see Isher, who is always supposed to be obnoxious, and the whole organization that he's part of is supposed to be obnoxious. That's why it's a paladin test in the game.
now the important thing here is when you decide to make an adventure game and you want to have totally original combat, that doesn't mean steal it from Monkey Island. Just because they had insult combat and it worked in their game does not mean that that's the only alternative form of combat.
Well, no, but
The-
having a character you snark with is a funny
yes,
character.
yes, that's a funny bit.
Yeah.
But as far as actual combat, there's so many different ways you can do it. The Magic the Gathering game from Microprose had the idea of you do Magic the Gathering duels against the monsters.
Yeah.
So you fight a monster by playing cards against it, and the winner gets the anti card from the opponent.
Yeah, I really like that.
Very clever and creative. You could do a match 3 game. You could roll dice. You
You can do other things. Is Isher a paladin test? I didn't get that. Yes, it is. It is a paladin test. It's also a practice your skills event. It's great for the warrior.
Yeah, if you're a warrior who wants to play honorably and might eventually become a paladin, then you need to act honorably.
Yes.
And when you're in combat, you will gradually discover this EOF, Eternal Order of Fighters, is a rough and ready group that is really kind of nasty. They're not real.
Kaveen is a founding member. Let's put it this way.
Yes.
Even if he isn't, he would be.
He probably
He's
is.
from the school
And
of
Isser is a
EOF.
founding member,
Yes.
and they're all kind of nasty. They don't respect anyone unless they're
bullies.
strong.
Yes. So therefore, the whole EOF thing is to teach you and to prepare you for what goes on in the end game. So yes, it's a paladin test, but it's also warrior information, because the information you get from those practice with him and the initiation is mirrored when in the end game.
Yeah, so it is foreshadowing.
Yes. So yeah.
Okay. Work.
Yes. I wonder if QG2 was popular playing. over there
We
in
have a
Middle
new
Eastern
job
country.
from Dinarzad.
Ah.
There's a weapon shop. You read this.
Weapon shop in the city that has a trapdoor beneath its anvil. If you can but move the anvil and open the trapdoor, you will be richly rewarded. I shall be rewarded, knowing that I have contributed to the fall of the weaponer's house.
Also known as the fall of the House of Isser.
Yeah. Yes, we've.
The fall of the House of Usher.
I think Phil has kind of learned
Crank
his
this
lesson
again.
over time,
She clearly
seeing,
evades it.
hearing how Elsa acquitted herself. Isher, not so much. Yes, well, some people can learn and others can't. Yes. Of course, as a child, I was a big fan of reading the Poe stories.
So yes, everything we read or did, got used in here somewhere. And then we stopped reading and doing things, and so we ran out of ideas.
Right. Sorry, Corey. Some of us never stop learning. Where are you going?
I am wandering the alleyways
Why are you wandering the alleyways?
because it's a little before sunset, and I want to get to dark.
Ah,
I am wasting time. I'm
You
wasting
are.
our players' time. Let's look. Left is Dinar Tariq. We're on Dinar Tariq this entire time. It's got to come out somewhere. There must be some cross. Wait, here's the cross passage. Up the street to the left reads Kital Darb.
I don't think that's a major street, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think this is going to take me to the central,
Okay.
which is not where I actually want to go, but that's okay.
You haven't talked to everybody. You could talk to somebody like a magic specialist, perhaps.
Did I ask the Isser about them? Elemental.
What difference does it make? He's not a specialist. You could ask the astrologer.
Oh, the astrologer or the. I'm supposed to visit the astrologer.
Aziza.
Again.
You could
All
ask
right.
Aziza, who is the
Fine.
water expert.
Oh, look where we are. We're almost to that plaza I was
We
trying to get
are.
to.
But
By
we came
dead
from
reckoning.
that plaza.
No, I came from here.
No, right, yes, but you originally
I
came
have
from that
gone
plaza. You came to that
I
plaza.
teleported.
Oh, you teleported.
And then I have walked all the way around here, and I
Okay.
was almost back to where I was going.
Okay.
But you've made a good point that isn't where I should be going.
Yeah, as long as you're wasting time, talk to people.
Here's a dead end.
You didn't
Look.
actually teleport.
What? How could I not have teleported? I did. I'm here.
Oh, really? Go
This
back.
doesn't look right.
Go back the way you came, I guess.
Knock. No one hears you knocking.
It teleported you to a wrong entrance.
There's an error.
Okay. You should see a sign on the door. I mean, it isn't just a random door.
That should have been it.
I remember him making the
Maybe
remark
it
like,
doesn't work for Magic Map Wise? Maybe you have to walk there? No. That is the astrologer's house and it's not letting me in. I keep going too far. Maybe I'm supposed to click instead of using the keyboard. Alright, so we're now here. Does anybody know why I can't get to the astrologer's house? If one of our people here have run into this.
I think he's closed for the night. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that could be.
What time is it now?
It is, the night is still young.
Ah, well,
Maybe
that's
that's
probably
it.
it, but
Maybe he
shouldn't he-
closes, maybe that's his door and he closes in the evening.
ah,
But it should say something.
you'd think. No, it doesn't seem to recognize.
That's very strange. All right.
Yep, he closes. Yes. Let's see. Yes, then there's a woman. I can't believe a woman thinks she can become king here. Kings are men, not dames.
Ah,
She'll learn her lesson soon enough. If you play in the big leagues, you've got to be tough before the right stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, you found...
come sit down. It's actually quite a drop. It'd be better to use this. Oh, that was just, didn't have pathfinding.
Mhm.
So if you get on the stairs, shall we share tea? Yes. The tea is cool and refreshing. Thank you. Thanks. You're most welcome. Ask about fire elemental. Perhaps it would be well. Oh,
To show you as well as tell you about such things. The essence of fire is hunger. As long as there is something nearby to burn, it will be able to move freely. It can consume the very bricks which make up the floor of the plaza.
sounds bad.
Until it is contained, it cannot be controlled. The weakness of fire is water, but the elemental of fire will avoid water by moving away from the source. Unless you find some way to drive it or lure the elemental away from the open plazas, where there is much it can burn, to a more confined area, you will not be able to use water against it to capture it. Once it is captured and contained, it behaves as a magical flame.
You're getting tired. Ask about flame. Container.
An elemental trying to escape will be drawn to a container of an appropriate nature. If there is no container, then it will either flee or dissipate and reappears elsewhere. A container can be created by choosing an appropriate receptacle for the element, such as a water skin for water. Once the elemental has been entered the container, its magical essence will be retained. One who thus captures an elemental will have power over it to use as he pleases. That's a nice goldfish. The animation on that goldfish is simple,
Elegant.
it is very elegant.
And so
this-
few pixels, and yet
This
they made
is
it work.
definitely a Ken Nishaway room. It is not a Jerry Moore room.
You can tell by all the dithering patterns and
yes.
so on in order to give the illusion of
Right. There's depth
many more
in here.
colors.
It's a difference of style, and this is done like a painter.
Yeah, Jerry's style was was more of somebody drawing, or painting on a background. So instead of having I was going to say as far as a painter, and Jerry was like he was doing it on 2D. Ken always thought in 3D.
Yeah, so I always thought like somebody whose background was
Fine
fine
arts.
arts rather than graphics and things like that. Arlo says, in Quest for Glory 1, Yorick goes on a tirade about what a jerk the weapon master is for refusing to teach Elsa because she's a girl. In 3, the council won't admit male members because males are too emotional to make rational decisions. By the time 5 came around, weed had been legalized in California, so Laurie was much more mellow, and Fullest could make all these comments about not wanting a woman king, and she didn't even care.
Well, an interesting thesis.
Yes. Yes.
Nobody in our generation cared whether weed was legal.
Right. But the whole point, well, maybe some did, but the whole point we're trying to make with these games is that people have different opinions, and some of them are really wrong-headed opinions. And that's the whole point, is you have to deal with people, even when they make bad decisions, even when they have wrong opinions about that. You have to actually work with them.
I wonder what happens if I try to teleport directly into his
I don't think you
his
can.
magic map.
You
Probably won't let me.
gotta break in.
Not just yet. According to the sign, the door below us must lead to the weapon shop. Look at bellows. And the bellows above the door looks like the real thing. You can't get the bellows. Wall. Don't need to. Oil
Yes,
hinges.
Bolus always just struck me as a bit of a hidebound jerk, but less so than Isher. Yes,
Lock.
yes. Calcifer, yes, Calcifer. A reference.
You have to practice the board to improve your lockpicking skill.
Oh,
Guess
no.
we should have been doing.
Perhaps not the best time.
By picking a lock, you were choosing your fate. Do you suppose I should have saved somewhere today?
Yeah, probably.
I meant to do that earlier.
Well, this looks like a good time to wrap this up.
Well,
Yeah.
we can go back to morning day 4 on fire.
Yeah.
I've just wasted the entire game.
You did.
Way! Okay, well, did everyone have fun? I guess what I'll do is play some of this offline and get back to where we were.
Yeah, I guess so.
So next time we will pick up where we left off. And I'll probably have to do some lockpick practice.
Yes, it looks like he should. And also,
Whoops!
we're supposed to be wary of when you go into these places, because, clearly you can't ask about, things.
Ask about fire. I'll have to ask Abdullah about that, but Abdullah's not here.
Let's see. I've been working overtime to make extra weapons. I figure when the mercenaries attack Samaria directly, we'll need every weapon we can get, says Follis. Yes.
I actually did say to myself at one point, I think it was after I got back from the dervish, I said, probably ought to save the game.
Well, I never thought he would refuse to accept her as king, but I think he wouldn't like having her for as long as she was there. Well, if she marries the hero, I don't think he'll have a problem. It's that way. He'll think the man will run the country, but he's a traditionalist who thinks that men should be in charge and not women. Let's see. I don't recall Isher ever doing the same to combat the elementals or potentially deal with the issues in Rasir. Isher is not a hero. I mean, and he doesn't even think to deal with the elementals. It's somebody else's job.
I mean, he's basically a merchant, but then he's, thinks of himself as a rough, tough guy and is a proud member of the EOF.
Yes.
But,
Bolus
he
is
doesn't think of
actually
himself as a-
capable of having respect. Isher just seems jealous, yes. There is a big difference in their personality, but they are, they're very similar in ways, but they're not identical. Oh, yes, had loads of fun. Thanks for another enjoyable stream. Fun.
I know how I can get back to that same point, is I can, after I've exported this video to YouTube, I'll just run the stream and then play along with it.
Man, we're really never going to learn why Johari chose Yusufu. Leave a note written down in your will or something. Let's see. Isher's got a nice little niche of supremacy and has no desire to move outside of it. Follis is more patriotic.
I seem to remember you talking about Johari and Yusufu one time, so I think I know the answer.
Well, perhaps you do. But it's also clear that,
Opposites attract.
well, offices do attract, and Yusufu is a very honorable and nice guy. And, and so unlike anybody Johari's
Anybody
met.
in her community?
Yes, it's like, well, yes, her community is secretive, they're sneaky, they love magic and mystery and things like that. And, Yusufu is a Boy Scout. I mean, really, he's just a good person. But also,
And he is, OSU Brainiac says, honestly, if we're going to talk about upcoming characters right here, I look forward to discussion about Katrina once again.
yeah, that should be
Although
fun.
he's actually written a lot about Katrina. She hasn't written much about Johari or
no.
Yusufu.
I have not.
Was she in the? Well, she was probably in the Women of.
No, she
Glory
wasn't.
of
I never got
Fortune.
around to writing her.
Oh, Tisk.
I know.
Yusufu really is almost literally a Boy Scout, because think about what you're doing in the Simbani village. You're going through and doing target practice. You're climbing on a
He's
a
an
tightrope
Eagle
and thing.
Scout, yeah.
Yeah, he's basically getting all his merit badges.
Yep.
He's the one in gaming.
Yes, he's doing the Awari game.
So he's basically doing all the sorts of things that I used to do at scout camp.
Yep.
I did archery and various things, and shot rifles, target shooting.
Yeah. Remember,
Hiking.
right, on the Lori is a great writer. What I am is I can think from somebody else's point of view, and these characters are all, when I'm writing it, they're very much a distinctive part of my brain. When I'm role playing in a role playing game like a D&D game, my characters, I get into character and I talk as that character. I even think the way the character thinks. So it isn't so much of me playing a character as that character is me, and I do things from my character's point of view. And sometimes that doesn't go over well with certain people that do not like the fact that my character might act one way and it's not totally in keeping with the spirit of the whole thing. I do not care for games where
But
I have
it's
to
sort of like a voice actor or an
Yeah.
actor thing where she is a method actor getting into the all the characters.
But also, I do think from that character's point of view. And those characters all have very distinctive personalities. When I write the Bible, which is the first thing I do for these things, I generally write the character descriptions. And I write about what their personality is like. And so that gives me the voice to have them come from. All right. Let's see. He is also fairly open-minded for a Simbani tribesman. Yes, he is better than the average traditionalist in the Simbani tribes. Yes, I get the sense he has no issue with Uhura gaming the system to become a warrior and a mother both. No. And it would
Actually,
likely...
we still have half an hour. Should I speed run back to where we were
You
while you're
could,
talking?
yes, you could speed run while he's doing... Yes, that's true. We'll just have it running in the background while we yak. It's, let's see, interesting, except I can't read, unless I put it back over there, yes. I think that character when I role play too, but I don't do it as much when I write. I'm not a skilled storyteller. Thanks for the tip. Well, when we were doing, playing D&D regularly, and our friend Jim was, one of the best of role players for me, really good at jamming and understanding character and things like that. Together we would play kobolds, and the kobolds would have their own language, and we could speak in kobold constantly during a thing, and everybody else felt like we were talking another language. They really knew that we were thinking through speaking entirely in kobold patois, so to speak.
The other thing about D&D is a lot of people play from published modules, and I did my own module, the Tower of Indomitable Circumstance. So I made the distinction between people who are good at designing scenarios and writing modules, and then people who are good at managing the players to be a dungeon master at the table. So I was a pretty good module writer, but I did not have the ability, the teacher ability that Lori had, that made me good at running a game. So there's a big distinction between that. I can write games, I can't really run a game.
Yes, I love the storyteller blatantly telling Uhura's story in Quest for Glory 3. That cracked me up. And how did the storyteller know the hero's backstory? Is he psychic or something? And did those things really happen, or did they happen in the future, i.e. the wizard coming back to save his village from the monster? Well, for one thing, Uhura actually had been in the village before Hero gets there, and she does talk. And so therefore it's quite possible she's talked about, what the hero did. Or even Gertie. I do love writing gnomes. They have, each one has a unique voice, but they're fun to write. They're entertaining. You can talk to the storyteller yourself as well. That's true. You can tell the story, the storyteller things. But
Tell the storyteller thing? What do you mean?
you can tell the storyteller things about yourself. Because we had the tell ability.
And of course, that's where he gets the stories from.
Yep, okay, yes. Oh, we have to go get that whirl of the dervish, too.
That's okay.
Okay, so yeah. So why does the storyteller tell you your own story, then? I think it's partially because on a meta level, it's about telling the player who may not have played the previous games a little about your character. And on the for a story point of view, it's telling the you that this storyteller is the one to ask about things. He knows all these things. Yes. Yes. Asante, hero of Shapir, I can find many stories in the words you tell. And Mount Saurus. Okay.
Yeah, so near Mount Hood in Oregon.
Ah, okay. What was the mountain you could see in Tacoma? Mount.
I know it, of course. Of course, having said that, I don't remember.
Yeah, it was an amazing mountain you could see from Tacoma, from the area of that convention center. Not Whitney or something like that.
It's in California.
Oh, okay, fine. Then I don't know if it isn't. It wasn't Mount St. Helens. I know that. But very impressive. Well, isn't he telling you your prequel? I mean, it never happens in the games that the hero returns to his home village and kills a monster. That's true. But I don't remember what he said, so yeah, don't mind me. He tells people about their own stories all the time. He flat out talks about the tension between the Symbani and the Leopardmen. I think it was Rainier. Yeah, it was Mount Rainier. It was pretty amazing, yes.
I'm stuck on a rock.
The fact I thought you deliberately didn't give the hero a backstory. Well, we did have a backstory in
I'm stuck. I broke it.
You broke it. Great. Did you save the game recently?
No, of course not.
We're good at this, aren't we?
I blame it on DOSBox. Clearly the people making DOSBox didn't get it right.
Oh. Here we go again. Let's see. We gave him a vague backstory. He's a wannabe a hero. That's about all we really bothered to develop for him, because I really wanted the player to tell his own story. Save early, save often. Thank you, Brainiac. I give you this story. Once there was a boy who could do magic. The people of his village did not believe in magic. The people of his village did not trust magic. The people of his village did not want the boy around. So the boy with the magic left the village. One day, a terrible monster came to the village. This monster was big. This monster was magic. No warrior can defeat this monster. Yes. But that's just an example. There were similar ones for the fighter and wizard. I forget if the paladin got a unique one or not. Damn. Yeah, who writes these things? The boy with the magic came back to the village. The boy with the magic fought the terrible monster. The terrible monster fought with the boy. The boy used his magic against the monster. The monster used his magic against the boy. The boy defeated the monster. The monster died. The monster defeated the boy. The boy died. Will the village now believe in magic? Will the village learn that magic can be good? Will the village now mourn the boy they sent away?
Sent a boy away?
It's I think this, yeah, really. I think he's,
I must be talking about what's the name of the character in the next game?
yes, the monster.
A fail. Sorry about a fail.
No. The monster defeated the boy. The boy died. The boy restored a game. Clearly. Well, yes. Boy is relative. And it's really not literal. He's advising the hero, yes. Because honestly, it could not. It's not telling the hero's past, because when the hero comes to Spielberg, he doesn't know any magic. He has to learn magic there. So either this is a literal story, and sometime between the time that game number 1, before you go off on the magic carpet while everybody's setting up things and getting ready to go, that you actually went back to your home village and saved them from a monster or got killed by said monster. It's probably not a literal story. And he speaks in metaphor. There we go. It gives you that clue. No, did you take the beard?
Huh?
Okay. There's also a thief story I recall that, given Hero U, I think might have put Thief Hero on the path to Roguehood. Yeah, it was Roguehood. Phil Waterskin? You know what?
Yeah, I'll do it at the fountain.
Okay.
I trust the water in the fountain more.
Save, haha.
No, not yet, not yet.
He doesn't want to save yet. Foolish person. You found a bug, you know?
It was weird that I locked up the
Stories can be
game.
many things. Stories can be lies. Stories can be truths. Stories can be quests. Stories can be ways of looking at the world with different eyes. Yes. And that's what stories are. That's what the storyteller is doing. He's not talking literal. Things can be literal, but it isn't necessarily. Alright, what time of day are we at? Plenty of time to do this. Sell the beard. Notice my note, mister? It is wished for the world of the
Where was the note? I don't
The
remember.
note was in the Adventures Guild.
Oh, which we haven't been to, I don't think.
You have been, and you got
Okay.
it from there, yes.
All right. And we have done that.
I don't get it. Is he advising the hero on his current situation in 3 then? Where he's in a village that doesn't trust magic users? I believe, effectively, he is talking about what could happen in the future. Is that, yes, we're facing a village that does not trust magic users. And, yes, if there are magic users... I mean, if there's a magic monster, then this village is screwed, because they do not believe it, in it. So he's merely telling a story. Yes.
Ah, when you bargain, you get the lamp for 10 dinars instead of 15.
There you go.
I could have bought it before
You could
without
have.
the beard.
Right.
But it's good to have some money in my pocket.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it's...
Phil. Waterskin. Save
Okay.
game.
Yay! Could leave it there.
Yeah. Okay. Now we go and visit Enchantress
Ah,
and learn about fire elementals.
right. Yes. We're mostly joking that since that boy died in the end, it can't be about the hero unless the storyteller can see all game fail states. In other words, save early, save often. Yeah, it's a reasonable lesson that we never seem to learn. Very good. You're winning. You are winning politeness points.
Courtesy points, yes.
Maybe they're all AUs, alternate universes, maybe alternate realities. After all, when I'm creating these games, I have to think of it in terms of alternate realities. Are you the magic user in this situation? Are you the fighter in this situation? These are all alternate realities, and trying to make sure that the reality for you is intact throughout the game of whatever alternate reality you've chosen to play.
That swirling fire elemental, very reminiscent of the one from Mage's Maze in the first game.
Okay, well, what do you know? Every lost game is a reality where the hero failed. Something quantum theory, yes. Yes, it's all about quantum and elemental. Yes. All right. I guess we have our pieces.
That's probably all we need.
I was thinking it was the hero's backstory because it changes according to the character type, and I'm pretty sure Lori said that a while ago, but I didn't realize she doesn't remember what the storyteller says. Yeah, well, yes, that's correct. Sometimes victory versus defeat is a mere razor's edge, a flip of a coin. Storyteller to string theory in college. Yes, obviously. Honestly, that also remember that storytelling is all about
But now,
possibilities.
how do I waste the rest of the day?
It's mid-morning we have done this. Wow, you were very effective.
I did say I was
You
going to
did.
fast play instead of.
You
I've been
did.
slow playing. I decided to fast play.
Yes, well, I guess.
No, we didn't manage to get to the
Well, you
Star
can
Show
do-
last
yes,
time, so we
see-
can do that.
And this time you get to go in.
Oh, okay, that's it's kind of bad. The game should have given you clues to he's closed at night. It's just a few lines would have helped
Yes,
that.
never have I read such
future is very-
troubling signs as though to guide you. Your future is very dark.
Uh-oh.
The planet Salim has been missing from the sky for several days now. Last night, the planet Amal is gone. Instead, a large, fiery star blazed from the eye of the dragon. Even now, the dragon and the scorpion are rising.
Isn't Salim the name of the apothecary?
He
in
is, and he is. But
Quest
the word,
43?
he has it meant something. It probably.
Ah.
So therefore, you
I
know,
was thinking maybe it was the.
it's nothing to do with Salim in the game. It's just that the word means something. Yes.
Ask about reading.
Darkness will lead you into a tomb. You will walk in fire, earth, water, and air, through temptation, and at last into despair and desolation.
Some fortune.
Darkness will triumph unless you stop the last light.
Stop
Maybe you should consider a new line of work and get out of the hero business. Have you considered accounting?
And of course, not remembering this, we made a CPA, Certified Public Accountant, as a running joke in the School for Heroes,
Yeah.
and then in Hero U.
A supernova obliterated stars in his path? Probably at this rate. You know, I've never seen the stars in such a particular configuration. Even though, you know, the other point is the planet Lahib is ascending. A fire elemental will gain more strength as it rises.
What was the other point?
He's almost blind.
Ah!
Remember, you can't
That's
see
the
anything. Yes. Yes. I assume the apothecary guy was named after a star because he's a hippie and stuff. Yeah, really. The stars were all out of place compared to Spielberg. Where the heck is this place?
Well, and of course, it's supposed to be a stock chart.
Yeah, well, it's just
The whole place is silly.
this is a Jerry Moore room. People who were adults in the 90s certainly had nostalgia for the 70s. This is true. Okay. Okay. Keep your distance.
It's got fire elemental. Things magic. Any magic is not a fighter.
Yes, so that's why yeah. He's the type that, it's not my business, somebody else. Yeah, you have to pay him for
How
that.
do you pay him? I don't know how to do that. Put coin on anvil.
I
It
don't
didn't
think it.
say put down, but of course.
Yes, of course, it doesn't remember that.
Salmon anvil. Heavy iron anvil doubles as a table for arm wrestling. I probably was supposed to do that first before I asked him a wrestling. Oh well.
Maybe.
Boop, boop, beep.
Everybody has a nostalgia for the past. Just people have different pasts. Yes. What's our money like now?
I don't know, by 2 of those, and then I'll find out.
Okay.
I have 15 dinars and 99 centimes.
Well, because
4 half full water skins,
you,
because I bought 2 more and they
you
don't come
bought 2
full.
more, and because you negotiated a better price.
I negotiated a better price on the lamp.
Yes.
I didn't bother on the other stuff.
No, you
Things are
didn't.
cheap. And you
Yeah.
can't negotiate with the apothecary, he says.
Yeah.
It might be good to get some more daggers. I guess I get those
You
from...
would probably get
Isser.
those from Isser, yeah. So, any rate, that's our convention stories. There's probably more that we could think of, yes.
Only 5 bargain for dagger. Not willing to change his price. 5 dinars? Yeah, that's a lot. I have 8. I guess
Oh,
I
you
bought.
don't need any.
I must have bought some earlier.
Yeah.
That's probably why I had no money.
Probably. That was a lot of daggers.
Yep.
You're all set to kill things, yes. Will he trade goods? No, he won't trade goods. We didn't put in trades.
Yeah, that would have been worked program.
Later on, we put in the communication skill. That only lasted 1 game, I think.
So really, what we ought to be doing is going out.
I guess. Right. Yes. Thanks again for coming out. I'm glad that you mostly had a good time. We had a fine time. It was a great game, a great convention.
We used to go to cons regularly, like maybe 2, 3, 4 a year, and that was we never had any long vacations, but we would take a 4-day weekend, 3-day or 4-day weekend, and go to a WesterCon or a WorldCon, something
Yeah.
like that, and then we did Filking, and
Ah.
we played D&D. A lot of times we went to DunderCon, and instead of actually doing anything at convention, is we got a room at the hotel, and then we'd have all our friends come up to the room and play D&D with us.
Yeah, DunderCon.
DunderCon, of course, is the Dungeons and Dragons convention.
Yes. You could just go in. It's 424, so you could go in and save the dame and.
But I wanted to fight something.
Oh, okay. Well, they have to watch this great fight scene.
Well, now that I know that I have 8 daggers, and
Yeah,
I'm
that's
more of
pretty
a
much how I
thief than a
tend to take
mage.
vacations myself. Starting to take more simply because my PTO capped out at 240, so I need to use it or lose it. Yeah,
Yes, indeed. Yep, that was a problem with if you worked for pretty much any high tech company in the 80s, 90s, whatever that you would get theoretically lots of paid time off, and in practice you could never use any of it because there was always deadlines. The deadlines did not get easier just because. Let's see. So I'm actually going west here.
You're not. Did you cross the? Oh, I guess you did.
I did not cross the divide.
Okay, so you should be going east, aren't you?
I don't know. Control H.
You're going
yeah.
east. North is at the top of the screen.
Now they tell me.
My company's like that too. You just got to fight them and say you're taking it. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, well, at the time it was a combination of the company, and it was effectively, there was stuff you wanted to get done. Ooh,
Blazing
blazing sun heats down on me. Does that mean my water skins are low? think I meant to refill the half-full water skins and didn't.
Well, you still have some.
It might
Looks
actually.
like there's a couple of boulders there that are blocking a cave. Oh, those same boulders are there. There's the other side of those boulders. They were just, stuck
I
in
thought
there.
I was making my way to the Griffin, but I don't seem to be.
Let's see. I
Sure.
work in a neurological mouse lab
Oh.
at the U of C. Oh, we haven't been here before.
Look at tree. That looks almost like a woman. Talk to your tree. I always used to tell you to talk to your plants. Don't bother trying to talk to your tree. How about water tree? Get off your Saurus first. Saurus needs more room before you can dismount.
Water tree, yes. Because you're a sweet guy, you decide that this poor tree that's here. Water tree!
When-
How are you watering the tree there? What?
With my little water skins that are almost empty.
I know, but it was where you were
The water you
back
pour in
was
the ground quickly
turned
sinks
to it.
into the soil and vanishes.
Oh,
Well,
Jim.
that's interesting. Mount Saurus. Go home. We have learned something new.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to ask people about that. Who would know about trees? Is there a plant
The
cellar
color
in town?
on the lower part of the tree has changed. Wow.
Oh, I didn't notice
Oh,
that.
yeah. You guys created such rich universities with Sierra's 3D technology. Well, this was a perfect medium, honestly. It works well for the way I think and the way I write, since I hate writing. I really do.
Okay, so I'm trying to think, where have we met a plant seller?
Yeah, you have met a plant seller, but I don't think that plant seller knows
Oh, here, right
anything.
here.
We'll be able to ask about tree.
Yeah,
Can you actually get any information from her?
I do not know. Ask about tree.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Hmm.
Fill water skin. Thank you.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yes. Good point. Yes, you guys really
Phil was my roommate in
Yeah, yeah.
Sunnyvale.
Yes. Feel free to give us real advice that
To
would
feel free?
Yeah, to fill freely.
They would probably tell me to save my game
They
again
would probably would. Prepping for fire, that's a
with
fine
my Phil
saving.
water skin.
Yes.
Uh,
All of this is good.
Mid-afternoon. So I guess we're not going to make it to... Well, I wanted to do some night things, so I may just have to run overtime.
Oh, you could go to the inn and sleep.
Oh, sleep for an hour?
Yeah, but you
Yeah,
don't. Well,
that's
but we're not getting in it tonight. It's 4:30, so you can't do
I
it
just-
today.
Just,
You'll have to start out
I
tomorrow.
just wanted to do my job that I won't remember to do.
Oh well, it's
'Cause
okay.
I won't
It's
remember
okay.
the next session.
You won't. But
Nobody
it won't
remind
be
me.
a month. Well, they can remind you. I mean, these people actually pay attention to what we do.
Okay,
Not like us.
so who would know about a magic tree? And what is it the trees need? They need water.
What is it about? Magic. That who would you talk to about magic? I don't know.
I don't
Or
know.
else it's just a tree. Maybe it's just a tree. Why would you bother? Yes. At any rate, thank you all for coming. I hope you enjoyed this talk.
I
And
think
it's-
Lori's trying to tell me to stop playing.
well, no, I don't. You can still
Oh, okay.
wander, but you can talk about, well, we're not going to be playing much things. It's a dryad, of course it is. Yes. I may not remember exactly what you were doing specifically, but I got a basic path in all the games stuck in my memory. Yeah, and you guys know what to do. You've played this more often.
Now
than
this
we
is
have.
why I don't have any problem with the map. Is I've got the picture of the city in my mind.
Mhm.
I know where all the major parts are, except maybe some of the merchants.
Yeah. Okay. What are you trying to do? Nobody's gonna know.
Ask about magic. Should ask the Plaza for a better answer. Well, maybe the magic user will know something
How
about
do you
magic
know it's
trees.
a magic tree? You did not do what a
it's
magic
a mostly-
would do.
All right, it's a mostly dead tree.
It's a mostly dead tree, and you did not use detect magic on it if you thought it was
Oh,
magical.
I should have done that.
You
Why
should
didn't
have,
someone suggest that?
because I didn't know you were going to. You should go sit down and eat,
All right,
because
fine.
it's clearly evening. Because it looks like a woman. Haven't you ever seen a tree that looks like a woman? Yeah.
Lieutenant
Lieutenant
Burgess.
Burgess. Okay, so we'll get our supper. Then we can go rest for an hour.
Lamb falafels and sour cream, along with a rabbit curry, are part of the meal for tonight. Thanks. Eat meal. Yum yum. It's a wonderful meal. Numerous salads, 2 main courses, hot mint tea, all the bread you could want. Ah, so I guess there are always 2 main courses.
There are.
Fortunately, your strenuous regimen as a hero prevents you from looking as round as Abdullah, who's not here.
Not today.
Get up. I could tip the musician, but
Ergo, the hero knows it's a magic trick. Well, yes, but he should have used magic because we're a
that would have
magic
been
user.
reasonable because we are trying to learn magic. Sleep for an hour.
1 hour.
Awaken, much refreshed. Character sheet. My health is full. My stamina is now full. My magic points are now full. So that was good. Let's go wander out and see if there's a nightclub or something where we can have an exciting time. He's still open.
He is.
We challenge one another. Oh, I went to the wrong plaza.
We haven't talked to him before.
Okay.
Oh, that's different.
But to give me a dinar, you will gain 5 if you walk the rope. Pay dinar. You're most brave. Now let's see if you are skilled as well. Now look how easy this is. Do. I had completely forgotten about this. So simple, you could do it. You have but to climb the rope.
This is a Ken Nishaway thing. It was his, I think, idea of the whole thing, but I know the animation and things were from him.
Left arrow, try to step forward. Right arrow, hold your position. Up arrow, correct by leaning right. Down arrow, correct by leaning left.
These scenes are what makes
Yep.
Thief the
Should correct it.
most fun character to play in too.
You are
It's
getting
like
too
the
good for
game-
me. Surely I'll be forced to pay you next time.
The game was made for him in the spirit of Aladdin. Yes, well, all right. Thief of Baghdad, actually.
Ah, that's where I actually was. Okay. So I was a different part of the plaza.
Yeah, you were on
And
the
I just
other
hadn't
side
gone
of
to
the
that
plaza,
side
yes.
before.
Well, you have. Go back. And it's in front of the...
He's still young. Too young.
Yeah, too young. Thief of Baghdad, the original movie, or at least one of the...
Ooh,
now
it got
it's
dark.
night. Yes. That was a problem the last time. We were not night scene when you were picking that lock.
Ah. Should have been.
Should have been, but it wasn't.
Must have been too early.
You still don't have the skill.
I still want to save my game.
Okay, fine. Yes, Aladdin the movie is a clear rip-off of Thief of Baghdad. It's sad to grow up and realize that. Yes, Thief of Baghdad with Sabu is an early film, and it is fantastic. It's well worth watching.
I believe if we do this enough times, we will
You
still
will still
get
get
caught.
caught, so you should go into the alleys and open. Yep, there you go, Corey.
What to do? Well, fortunately, I did save just before that.
You did. And
So,
that's a good time.
and that will be a good time to quit. So
Yep.
next time we will continue, and I should have been practicing my lock picking all this time, but
Yes. And your magic spells and everything else.
we
because-
should be able to do okay. I was expecting that to happen, so that was not.
Yes, I know.
So next time what I'll do is I'll pick the lock once or twice, step in the alley, come back, pick the
yeah.
lock, because every time we come to the room it resets.
It's sad knowing one of the major movies of the golden age of Disney is a rip-off. Well.
It's a tribute.
It's a tribute. Well, yeah, it's just like all of our things. We're taking all the past. Most people will never see the movie Thief of Baghdad. It was originally a black and white movie.
You should though.
And it's been colorized, but or else it was early color, one of the two. But it's the kind of thing is this will be lost, especially since nobody bothers to watch old movies again unless they're an old person, and so therefore.
Whereas we used to all the time, we'd go into Straw Hat Pizza and they would be showing old silent movies while we
yours was. I never did that.
in L.A.
Ah, very good.
And yeah, that's you'd go various places, Chuck E.
When
Cheese.
we were little, television was in black and white.
It was.
And they did not have that many shows. It
We
didn't
actually,
have
I think we actually had a black and white TV, and there was a transition period. TV Guide magazine
Yes.
was what you used in order to find out what was on TV because we didn't have an internet, of course. But it used to have a special symbol, the
Yes,
C
it was in
symbol,
color.
for any TV show that was in color.
Whereas I grew up with a color television since I was little because my uncle felt like you had to watch the color. It was special. So
Well,
that's why
once the
they-
color TVs came out, my father acquired a color
Yeah.
TV because he did contract work for Heathkit, and so
Ah.
he got a fancy Heathkit stereo. He had to put together himself from a kit, but it was because he had done
Anyway,
consulting
my
work.
point was.
Anyway, but my
that-
point.
My point, when
Your
I was
point.
talking first, is that there were not that many television programs. I mean, it was still the era that programs were often live and they were not videotaped, and you couldn't see
We're
reruns.
not that old.
Yes, we are, Corey. And so, therefore, you saw a lot of movies. They would have the old movies on, and that's how you filled up your thing. And
Whereas I remember movies coming in later in the era of reruns and such.
yeah, well, no,
But they did every year we would watch The Wizard of Oz.
yes,
And,
yeah, we did too.
and a few others like that. But anyway, I was saying about TV Guide. So they would have a marker to show you which shows were in color, and there were just a few of them. But within about 2 to 3 years, they changed it, and now they had a new symbol for black and white. And they marked shows that were black and white because by then, almost everything was color, and the
I'm
very few that
sure
were
it
still
was-
black and white, they marked.
I'm sure it was a lot like Sierra Games. Once you made something in color, you could never go back, and people preferred the color, and they tended to watch the color things. So therefore,
So once Sierra had the 250s, well, once they had the 16 color games, people stopped playing the 4
Yeah.
color games.
Yeah.
And once they had the 256 color games, people stopped playing the 16 color
Yep.
games.
but that is the way of the world, and it happens in every industry.
Progress!
Any rate,
Once games had voices, you wanted to do games with voices. But that's enough for today.
yep.
I'm getting ready to do a raid that I have never done before in World of Warcraft. I'm going to try Mythic mode in Amir Dracel.
Oh, fun.
And I will probably last for 1 or 2 bosses before they kick me out as not having enough experience.
Oh, well.
But we'll see. All right. Thanks all. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And in 2 weeks will be the 24th of August.
Oh, very good. 'Cause
Same
he
bat
can
time,
math.
same bat channel.
He can do math. 14. Guess so.
24th.
Ah.
Today's the 10th. Next one's 24th.
Ah.
And we're at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Probably Pacific Daylight, I think, still.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.